prep day. And really, the kickoff, we've had a couple kickoffs, right? We had a meet and greet. And now we have our prep day for Evergreen and Holly extravaganza weekend. So hello, friends. Just make sure you guys can see me. And everything is going well here. Good morning. It just went live on my computer, so I know there's a delay. So if you're watching recorded, you got like double, triple hellos. If you are watching live, I think this is our first hello. So hello, how are we doing? Good morning here in Southern Ontario, Canada. It could be evening, it could be the next day, whatever part of the world you're watching from. We'll see. I'm curious to see the numbers we will have today. How many people are going to be here doing the prep live? I know some of you are going to be watching after the fact. I printed all of the things. Like, I didn't even print the written instructions for myself. I just had my cutting diagram. Really, if you're new, and even some of the ones that have been here for a while, know that you don't require anything. You're just going to literally follow the instruction, watch on the video, and cut with me. So that's really what I recommend, is I put all that stuff up there so that you have a reference, because I know some of you like to see that. Some aren't going to be watching the video. You might be doing it from the instructions. So there's something there that hopefully helps everybody, right? How many of us bought this kit? A lot. We have a lot of people who did access only. You can make that decision, some for multiple reasons, right? You maybe didn't even know that this class existed and you had already bought something on scrapbook.com, a cherry on top, HSN, lots of different places. But you will know now that you can get the complete kit from me, remembering it's all in Canadian dollars. So everything in there, if you shop on your own, probably will cost you what my kit does, plus the $40 to do the access only. But you can decide. Everybody can play. Some people might not even be using Evergreen and Holly. You might have a lovely collection from another company that you just want the instruction to create. Whatever you're doing will totally work, right? Will totally work. Knowing that this is going to all happen for every collection I come out with. This whole event weekend, Print Shop is already up and available as a pre-order. I have not even done the class yet for that. So I know I will sell out on those last, I think I have about 70 kits left of that as soon as I do my sample. That one will be gone, and I'm going to be formatting these classes exactly like this moving forward, because I think it's super helpful to do these kind of preps and splitting it, because it's a lot. The album, remember I kept saying it's about 40 pages or 50? I think it's closer to 70. It's closer to 70 pages. So it's a lot, right? And there again, but I love it. I love that you have all of that space. And then don't forget, this album, I'm going to start in December filling pages and posting them as I go. So with the photos, with my journaling, using the numbers, the chipboard numbers that come with this collection. It's going to be fun. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I will work out so it's a little bit smoother now that I've added this with Print Shop. I'm trying to figure out if I also add information on the blog section of vickyboutin.com. It's very hard to figure out how to get all the info to everybody in a way that works. Because really, look, there are over 500 people in this group. There are more that have purchased either access only or the kit, and they're not in the group. So at this point, they don't have any of this info. I can't send email blasts out because, as you guys know, if you check your junk folders, most of my newsletters don't make it into your inboxes. So just know you have to find the Facebook group. The best thing to do is go back to the original post or the access only that will link you the Facebook group. And then I'm going to talk to Natalie and we're going to figure out a way. I'm going to start using more of the vickyboutin.com website so that you guys can find all of the information as easily as possible. There were questions about when will the full instructions be posted. Tomorrow. We'll talk about some things. All of the cutting diagrams and everything are ready. It's all ready, but I didn't want to post everything at the same time, because right? Like my mom could be on there trying to access guides and all files and all of the things. And it can be a little tough, right? To just navigate social media and the internet and figure out where everything is. So I'm trying to keep it as organized and not overwhelming, right? This should be fun as possible. So the information's coming. If you have any questions, today's the day to ask them. Please post them in the Facebook group, and I will answer the questions. Natalie will answer the questions. I see one of the things that I'm going to talk to you about, in case you're not reading what Natalie just posted. If your video quality is not super great, take your mouse and hover over the screen where the image is. You will see a gear. So you know it looks like the little knobbins come off of it. Hover over the gear and make sure you have set your quality to 720 or right underneath. And that will fix any issues that you have with the quality of the video. Remember, I film all of this from my phone. I'm working on, it's one of my plans for the new year to have a whole studio set up. So I have 2 cameras and can do all of this and get the interweb people in here to set up my own internet. But for now, when I flip the camera, the volume level may change. Just turn your volume up a bit, okay? It's because I won't be as close to the mic when I sit down. So it's nothing wrong with the quality, or something didn't go wrong with your phone. These are just all of these newbie things. If you're not sure, I want to share all of those things, trying to think of everything that I can cover before we get started. So like I said, this is not super fancy schmancy. It's all Vicky doing it from the comfort of my studio in my basement in the Booten household, right? So I love it. So keep in mind, everything that we're using in this kit we're going to be using, and now I am going to post this week what my plans are for the crafting in December for my Facebook Lives. And I'm going to post the product that I'm using and post some of the things I've collected and what I plan on creating for the month of December. So there probably will be a couple added lives. It won't just be on Fridays. I will be adding some different things in there. So I probably will do an impromptu live this week, separate from this class, that talks about all of the fun that we can use with all of the extra Evergreen and Holly that you might have, all of the Tim Holtz magic, any of the collections you have. So it's going to be so fun. So I haven't looked at questions now. Remember, if you have a question, please put in caps, question, and then your question. And it makes it easier while I'm working, because I'm going to be paper cutting. That I just keep looking over, because my laptop is right here, that I keep looking over, and that I can check. So questions in cap is super helpful. Tim was wonderful yesterday. I only saw part of it because I was prepping for today and working on that flash sale that I put up that I want to add a few more items to, because I think it's going to extend till Monday before I take it down. And then all those orders are going to go out as well. If you ordered multiple times, I will condense. If you ordered multiple kits in one box, I might have to reach out to you if the shipping costs, because shipping to the US will go from, now for me to ship to Texas is about $39. And I only charge $25. If the box gets bigger, it goes up to $60. So I will absorb some of those costs, but that I can't. So I might be in touch with you. So those are all of our minutes before we get started. So thank you. I picked out all my sweaters. I have a different outfit for every day that we're going to go live, right? So today I'm channeling snow. So today is channeling snow. I feel like I put my outfit on and it puts me in the right mindset for amazing crafting. So I am ready to go. So I'm going to flip the camera around. So I'm going to jiggle you, going to Blair Witch you for a second. And then I'm going to flip it around, okay? Here we go. You get to look up my nose and everything. It's just awesome sauce. So I love it. I had to have the conversation with my son today. It's like, you can't stream, no video gaming today or at all next weekend. So I will send him to the movies or something next week, because if you have gamers at home, it's gonna put him right over the edge. But I'm like, I don't care, friend. Vicky is in the house with our VBoo crew, and we don't mess with that, right? Oh, you got to see my belly and everything. How exciting, first thing in the morning, right? Let me flip it a little bit up. I think we're good. Okay, So hello friends. Hi Kari, hi Fiona, Christy, Noah. I see lots of my friends from all over, right? So you already had a Bakewell tart and several glasses of Prosecco. I love it. I can't tip my cup, but just know that I have my cup of coffee in my Believe mug. So I will pull a different Christmas mug for every day, and I have my water, and I'm all set up and ready to go. So do we have any questions before I get started? Good morning, good afternoon, good Monday, whenever you're watching. Hi Dandy, hi friends, hi Elise. So right now, before we get started, if you have any questions, please post it so I can see. And I think we're good. I don't see any new questions. How many do we have here? We have about 217 of you watching. I love it. I'm going to go through all of the things, friends. We're going to talk about things that are going to be key, I think, to your success for doing one of my classes. I'll move my coffee because otherwise everything is going to be distressed and coffee stained. Up there, we're going to talk about things, friends. So can one person comment, because my comments aren't moving and I just want to make sure we're good. I'm going to refresh. So just give me a second, because this is important that I can actually see. Okay, I see some comments. Good, we're good. We're good. Hi Kimber, hola, my amiga. Very excited. Okay, we're all good. I can see the comments. I refreshed. We're good. So I'm going to go over the tools we're going to need for the weekend. It's not necessarily everything we need for today. We'll talk about what we need for today. I'm going to talk about how I have divided my kit up, because things that I love are clips. I have paper clips, and I did buy a whole bunch of different bowls and dishes for this event. Are you ready? I bought this Christmas tree to sort my things. I have my Santa plate that I got from my friend Michelle from 3 Craft Chicks. My snowflake bowl. I have containers are a super important thing for organizing your bits. And it also is pretty and makes me feel happy. So I have all of my containers. Other things I find handy are these envelopes that I buy at scrapbook.com. Natalie will link them with my share sale links. I don't know if they're in stock or not, but I love this for extra bits, for my extra ephemera, because guess what? I can find a little container in the fridge storage section at Home Goods or Home Sense, or what do you guys call it in the UK? There's a name for it there, whatever your store is there. But then I can store all of these, and it takes up a lot less space than the full packages. So this is a favorite thing of mine. I put my dies in them. Like, I love to use these, so I find that super helpful. So if you find it super helpful, that's awesome. I always have a little garbage can. I have stuff in my garbage can right now, but imagine this is clean for my little bits. And then I have my cutting diagram out, because this is really all that I'm going to use. We're going to organize all of our pieces for the kit. So I'm going to go through that. It'll be the first thing we do, but I want to talk to you about the things that I have tool-wise. I love this hole punch. I also used to use my Crocodile, which is great, but why I love this one from We Are, and I do sell it in my shop, is I can change the hole size. So absolutely love this. I think it's a good investment. It's a big, huge, heavy tool, but it will punch through almost anything as long as it fits that width. So I love this. Goes through chipboard like butter. I have a couple of different border punches. I have some of these that I will be adding in the month of December. I'm going to do a whole Vicky's Favorite Things section in my shop, in a mixed media section, so you can get ready for the month of December, or pardon me, for the new year with our mixed media and all the rest. So I have a couple of these Fiskars that are probably you can't even find anymore in packages. I will be adding those. I also have a bunch of the We Are and EK Success punches. I have circle punches, so a 1 inch and a 1.5 and a corner rounder. So these are my pretty much the tools I use for every single one of my classes. I try not to add new things so you guys don't have to spend more money on things that, you know, I don't want to break your bank. I do all of my scoring with this little rolling ball embosser, or sometimes the end of a pen that I just put the ink away if it's a click pen. And I use the well of my trimmer. You can use your score pal, whatever you want to do, right? I am going to be adding this to my shop because I love this as, pardon me, and I have a little choke, as a reinforcer, right? But it's a star. So I just ordered a bunch of these, and this is great for reinforcing the holes in your books, right? So I have the regular circle one, and I just ordered these stars. So love these, right? So I pulled this one out because I think that's a good tool to have. The other thing you will need is your paper trimmer. Make sure you have, for all this paper cutting, a new blade. So unless you want distressed edges, and you know what I'm talking about, right? When your blade is dull and it tears all the edges up. I put a new blade in my trimmer. I think I'm going to add these to the store. I think I ordered a bunch of those, but yeah, I like it. I have scissors. I have rulers. So I have my large ruler that is 18-inch one, and then the little one. If I just need something for quick reference, I have my little metal ruler. Sticky notes are your friend. So say that you are creating with your own kit, and maybe you don't have all the papers I'm going to be using, or maybe you make a miscut and you cut ahead of time and you just realize, oh, I cut the wrong paper for the wrong direction, or you want to remember something I said at that point as we're building. I find this is a great reference. It's your golden nuggets pad. Okay, I like to reference things that are worth acknowledging, listening to, remembering as golden nuggets. So this is my golden nugget paper pad of sticky notes. And I find it's super helpful that you have something that you can just stick a sticky note on. Like maybe as we're going through and we're doing our clip, flip, and sip, that you can throw something on here because there's something like, oh, Vicky said this and I want to make sure I remember it when I assemble my book. So that will be great, right? Sticky notes. I have a pen and I have my little pencil. Isn't it cute? It is one of the, what do you call these? Mechanical pencils that looks like a little old pencil. Love it. When we get to, we're not doing any stenciling today. And I did read that some of you guys, there was like a manufacturing issue with your stencils. Definitely reach out to customer service at americancrafts.com. My name is on the product. I don't manufacture this product. So any issues that you have with it, I have zero control over. Sadly enough, my name is on it, but I know American Crafts will make it right. And if you have any issues, then reach out to me. But the first person you need to reach out to, or first line of defense or system to go through, is if you have issues with any of the product. Because don't forget, they're manufacturing thousands and thousands of pieces. Some of them, it's a human putting these things together. You could end up, I know some of you had 2 candies and no snow, or 2 of the same stencil. I've never heard that happening. That's a new one, unless it's happened and no one told me about it. But definitely reach out to them and they will replace any issues that you have with product, okay? Like Tim says, we really, we talk about things where everybody's like, it's so exciting that you get to do your own product line. And I'm like, it is. And I love it. But designers will never get rich off of product lines. The only way I make any kind of an income is by doing these classes and selling my kits. And the other thing is we don't have the control over these kind of things, right? But it's good to know so they know moving forward that there was an issue. So thank you for letting me know, because then I can bring it to their attention. What should we have? I have storyteller and a flower set. I'm not sure what the question is, Samantha. What should you have of what? Are they sets of stencils? It's a holiday collection. So whatever stencil you would like to use is totally up to you. The ones that are in this set are little candies we're going to use, snowflakes, and then the poinsettia. So you can use whatever you like, right? Whatever you have, whatever you like, totally going to work, right? Good morning, Yessie. Hello, friends. So that is the basic idea for the general kit. Let's now talk about inks. And if I'm missing anything as we go, just let me know, okay, friends? If you feel like I have missed anything or you have a specific question I'm not covering, definitely let me know, okay? So let's just pull some of the other little things that I have. Hi, Irene. How are you, friend? So when you are putting, you don't need these things today, but this is what you will need. So I'm going to talk about it. I will talk about this again on Saturday when we start the album class. Again, I'll go over the basic tools that you need, what we're using that day. And so if some of you missed this whole video, you'll know. Here's the other thing. If some of you don't realize that this prep video is happening, I've tried to put all the information out there, but I'm sure some people are going to miss it. That's when your sticky notes are going to come in handy. So if you haven't done any of this prep cutting we're going to do today, you can just stick a sticky note in your book that lets you know what needs to go on a certain page, okay? Question. I don't have tattered rose. I'm going to talk about all the things, okay? So let me get through all of these things, and then if you have a question specific that you don't think I covered, I will then definitely pull it out. So I want to talk to you about, let's start with the distress ink. This is, let's start at the very beginning. This will be helpful. So you have with your distress, you have oxides and you have regular distress. So the difference between them, I'm not going to get into a whole lesson on distress ink, but really for today or for this whole weekend, the only thing you need to know is oxides are a combo ink that has a chalkiness to it. So why these are magic is they work on dark colors and you can still see the pigment. Regular distress are transparent. So if I put this on black, you won't see it. So the only reason that I'm using some of these in oxide and I'm calling for the color is because they'll show up on black. So right off, if you don't have any of these inks and you're using different brands of inks, you need something that will show up on black. A white ink or a gold ink or anything that will show up on black and darker backgrounds. So you don't necessarily need speckled egg or tattered rose. You don't need these per se. You just need something that will show up in a dark background. So I hope that that is super helpful. And now I'm going to go through the inks that I'm using. Okay, so the inks I added, I have all of them I pulled in oxide so I can stamp with them when we do the cards on cards and tags on Friday. So these are the colors that I'm using. You don't have to use these colors. You can use whatever you have. It's why I added the full color list for this collection that I'm going to get up, and hopefully it's right behind me, but I don't know if I have it handy. Of course I don't have it handy. I've moved it somewhere. But you need a red. And how do you know what matches? Match it to the paper that's in front of you, right? Do a couple quick swatches on scrap and you'll know. I'm using lumberjack plaid. I'm using fossilized amber because I'm using yellow mats on one of the layouts. So I think this is helpful. I'm using tattered rose and speckled egg on my darker backgrounds, which we'll talk about when we get to that part. But you could use a white or a gold or a silver instead. The other thing that I don't have out here is for the card making, a couple of the greens that are on the list will be great for the leaves. And then, of course, a black ink. Okay, so we'll go into this in more detail, but I want to kind of cover the basics of what we're going to be using in this class. Any questions on the ink? Any questions on the ink? You will need a stamping block. Okay, I have a couple of sizes. I'm only using the stamps on Friday on the cards. You can use them wherever you want, but that's when I'm going to be using them, okay, is on the cards. So stamping blocks. You will notice as well that I have masked my stencil because I'm only going to be using this one candy and moving it all across the layout. You can use washi tape, you can use painter's tape, you can cut a mask out of paper and tape it, whatever you want to do, because you could punch a circle that's bigger than this, put it on top, and then put it down. Okay, whatever you want to do. I just use a washi that I had lots of that I will use as my mask. How we doing, friends? Any questions so far? And then I'm moving all this because we don't need it today. We don't need these things today. I will go over it again. I'm using black acrylic paint on one layout that I'm going to water down, and then I'm going to use a wider round brush to create paint drips. Do you have to have oxide or acrylic paint? No. You could use a black ink with water, something that's water soluble. You could use any kind of craft paint, anything that you could put a more opaque black on your layout, that will work. Okay? And then I have ink blending tools for each color, because especially with your oxides, you cannot mix your your oxide colors between each color. Okay? So we're going over tools. I will pull kit out in a minute, Karen, and we'll go through I'm going to go through the whole kit today. It's not tonight yet. But we'll get there. Okay, it's coming. I will be using in the class, I like to use 1/8 inch double-sided tape for any interactive pockets, anything like that. Because all of my scoring for the most part is done at 1/4 inch. This is a golden nugget. Okay, this is very important. If you are using tape that is wider than this, maybe you only had 1/4 inch and that's what you want to use. You want to make sure when I say score 1/4 inch that you measure 1/4 and move it to make it slightly larger so that your tape will fit comfortably in your scored flap. If you score 1/4 inch and put 1/4 inch tape down, you're going to have tape hanging out of your scored areas and it gets messy and sticky. So just keep that in mind. If you're using 1/8 inch, it's slightly smaller than 1/4, right? So it fits in 1/4. If you're using wider tape, you're going to score your flaps. I wouldn't score them at 1/2 inch. I would just find that 1/4 inch and move it over just a little bit so that your tape can fit comfortably in there. I will have double-sided foam dots, and I like to have, for extra oomph and for gluing my chipboard and all the rest down, a good liquid, your favorite liquid glue. Okay, friends. Let's go into the kit now. Okay, for today, what do I need for today? I need a border punch, so I'm going to have that handy. I will have my corner rounder. I will have my circle punches and my scoring tool. I don't need any of the other hole punch or anything for today. Okay? Okay? So Lisa just shared a fraction. You can use 3/8 if you want to, especially if you're using scoreboard, because you can find those fractions very easily. So that is great. You can use 3/8 if you're using 1/4 inch double-sided tape. For me, because I'm doing it all just on the well of my trimmer, I just find 1/4 and move it a little bit. It does not have to be exact science, okay? If you're like, oh, 3/8, that freaks me out. How do I find that fraction? You don't have to. If you have a scoreboard, it is a great tip, right? Because you can see that listed. Let's grab the kit. When we get to the album portion of the class, we will open this up because you'll need the guts in the album. I'm not going to open it up today because I don't want to confuse anything, but we will open that and discuss what's inside the album. Yeah, totally an ish girl. I agree. Yeah, see, I ish it. Not for everybody, because some people really love and appreciate the fractions because it's how their brain works. And then some people, that stresses them right the heck out. So I like to give you all of the options, right? But if I do happen to cut instead of score, that's where washi tape comes in, 100%. Because we're going to talk about all of that before we get started, right? Dashed lines on my cutting diagram represents a score line, not a cut. But sometimes in the excitement of doing, you can cut instead of score. If that happens, finding a washi tape that matches whatever collection that you're using is super helpful. Like just a green polka dot, or maybe a black script, or something that you have if you bought the washi that goes along with the collection, is a great tool to have, because then there's no tears or frustration or swear words. Well, there could be, but then we have tape to tape up that swear word. Okay? Okay, one little sip of my coffee. And let's go through the kit. So in the kit that I have sold through my website, we have a sticker book from Evergreen and Holly. So there's a sticker book in there with 8 pages of stickers. There are 2 ephemera packs from Evergreen and Holly. So icons and journaling is what I call them, icons and journaling. So you have 2. Let me tell you, when we go through and start organizing all of our embellishments, keep this handy as a reference. Put it with your embellishments. So if you are going to assemble your album later and you're like, oh my goodness, where was that 'Tis the Season label? Which ephemera pack out of the 4 that are in this kit, which one did I get that from? And then you have a quick reference. I find super helpful, right? Super helpful. The other 2 ephemera packs that are in here are from MIstletoe, Mittens and MIstletoe from crepe paper, okay? One, again, is like journal. I just put crepe paper, and you can reference the back of these to find where they are when you are looking at written instructions, okay? So it is journaling like. Again, the scale is very small. If it's a tiny little bit, it came from this kit. If it has foil on it, it came from these packs. So then these 2 ephemera packs, okay? Yes, so Elise, that's a great tip. She's saying if she's on her game, she crosses the ephemera out on the back of the pack as she uses it. That is a golden nugget, Elise. I need to add that to my list to make me look like I know what I'm talking about. That is a good one. Okay? Everyone should have a full 6x8 paper pack. Okay? I like to give the full paper pads with the Christmas collections because there's fewer open stock papers, okay? So, okay, super helpful. You have a reference again to find what you need on the back. There are 2 of every design in here. So that is 36. So what is that? 18? 18 patterns repeated twice in your paper pad. You have a little, I love these. I freaking love these. I am going to have open stock of everything that is pretty much in this kit that I'm going to be listing in my store this week for sale, like to sell it, just the extras, okay? I will have this because I have a couple extra, but I will be keeping 10 for myself because I love them. So you need to have your enamel dots as well. We will not use these at all. This is when you go to embellish and do all the fun things when you are putting your album together. Because you have options this time, right? Because we're going to, I'm hoping that you guys are going to join me once your album is done and then start taking pictures as soon as the December 1st using your photo prompts, and we're going to start building and putting actual photos in this album for the whole month of December. And if I kind of target a day where I can build a page and put that on with my stickers, my embellishments, it'll be golden. I love it. Okay? You have puffy, I call these puffy thickers. They're also called joyful. These are the thickers that are in my handwriting. There are lots of little embellishments on here as well as words. So you have these. What I like to do is, because they come on like little acetate sheets, is I will cut around them and clip them to pages if I'm not ready to use them. So that is how I design when I'm going through the whole process of putting the pages together. I'll clip out all the titles and just paper clip them. So it's a tip if you want to use it. You have a set of the Holiday Magic stamps that we're going to be using for the card and tag day on Friday. You have these sold out. This was probably one of my more popular items. It is the shaker stickers. You have puffy stickers. I call these puffy stickers. And this is where I got the numbers for the alphabets. Friends, with everything that you purchase that is pre-adhesed and sticky, that's why I love liquid adhesive. Because I don't trust the freaking glue on anything. I don't trust the glue on anything. So some of these things, I'll put a little dab of glue on to make sure my bits don't fall off in a year. Okay? You have your stencils, which we talked about, right? The 3-pack. These are the, look at metallic gold. I love these. This is one of those things that even though it's with a Christmas line, you may want to buy extra of these. I find that they look beautiful on any collection. So they come with all the letters and numbers. So I love them. They are a good staple. You also have a sheet of chipboard. This is the last time we're doing this exact style because there's limitations on how much I'm allowed to have on here, and sometimes the adhesive isn't the best, and sometimes they pop off of the page and are floating around in the back. So with my next collection, we're doing something a little bit different. But again, put adhesive on these. Do not trust the adhesive, right? It's only a suggestion. It's, let's call it temporary. They all have temporary adhesive on it. So that is all of your embellishment. Plus, a lot of you received a bonus gift in the kit, which is this, the Mittens and Mistletoe stamp set. I may use this on some of the tags, but I have not at this point used it at all. Okay, but this was a added bonus gift that I added, and it is in there, in your kit. Okay, let's talk about the papers. And I think we could start at this point organizing what we need. Okay, so let me put this away. So we talked about, friends, that this is when I am using my layered tray, right? So that I can put all my stuff on it. Any questions? Any questions at this point? Let me know. I will happily answer. So I'm putting all the embellishments away. We do not need those today. I'm not going to get into that today. It's too much. I'm really trying to make this in bite-sized pieces, right? So that you guys can manage it. What golden nugget did I miss? It's a great golden nugget, Kari. What was Kari's golden nugget? I need to know so I look smart. What do I need to add to my golden nugget list? Okay. So in your kit, with Christmas kits, they are smaller collections. So there are only 12 open stock pattern papers in a Christmas kit. Or, well, they don't really do very many specialty kits anymore, or collections at American Crafts, but in a Christmas kit, we're limited to 12 instead of 24 double-sided. So I will find any time I can, what do you call it, something around, like work around so I can get more in there. So this is what I have to say. With that question, my 12 by 12, yes, your 12 by 12 paper pad doesn't have names, and I didn't put names on anything. The only thing that has a name on it is a open stock paper pad. Open stock paper. Paper pads are just listed by what's on the front and back. You're never going to have these in an open stock. It never will happen. It will only be a stack of paper. Okay? Did the black chipboard shapes not come? Oh, yes, they are, but they're extra. They're big. So yes, the black chipboard shapes are in the kit. Sorry. Thank you very much, Connie. But we didn't add it in the plastic bags because they're so big. So yes, the black chipboard I don't have downstairs. They're upstairs. Yes, that was also in the kit. Thank you very much, Connie. So yes, the black chipboard is in the kit. Okay? So let's talk about these things. So with the open stock again, and I'm not going to look at questions for a minute because then it doesn't take much. I will lose my train of thought. So I'm not looking at your questions for a second. Just let me get through this, and I'm probably going to answer a lot of them. Okay? So let me get through this part, and then I will look at your question, but I'm not going to look for a second. Okay? Open stock papers, there are 12 of them. I didn't necessarily add all of them because some are represented in the half pad that everyone got in their kit. So in this collection, and a lot of them moving forward, and you'll understand why, I'm going to be putting a half pad of the paper pad and open stock. I'll tell you something. If I had a preference, the open stock I like, it's a little bit more vibrant. The paper in open stock paper is made in North America. It is printed in the US of A. Paper pads are made overseas. They are binded, all of it's done overseas. The color and printing process is different. You can see it, I think. I see it. Look at the brightness and the detail of open stock. But for the ease of kitting, and also because there are things represented in a paper pad that are not in the open stock, because I want to maximize the things that you get, I will put a mix always of both. The other thing is if you like buying my collections, you will always want to buy the paper pad with your open stock if you're buying on your own. That's why a lot of people who buy the kit also purchase the paper pad that I offer online, because there are solids in there. There are patterns that are not in the open stock paper that I add just to give you more options, okay? Especially it helps my friends who maybe can't find cardstock to match, that if I do tone on tone and solid-ish patterns in the paper pad, you have something built in there. Is that answering some questions? We're not really using that stamp that much, Kirsty. You will be fine. You will be fine. It was just a gift because look at, again, for my people who order on their own, and I 100% understand that living in the EU and other places, like you still want to participate, and it makes you sad that you can't find all of the things. But on the second half, right, lots of different places are offering my collections. I like to put incentives so people will order from me, because remember, again, I don't want to harp on this, but this is how I make my living, is teaching online classes, teaching on my cruises, and selling my kits. So if I put a curated kit together with extra bonus pieces and gifts, hopefully sell them at a great deal, plus the 20 plus hours of education, that hopefully it encourages people to buy through me. I know it's frustrating for anybody who cannot buy, because I can't at this point ship all over the world. But yes, I try to do my best and offer all that information, but I will use those added things at a minimum. Okay, so I want to keep everybody as happy as possible. Okay, so in your kit, you have a piece of trimmings paper. You have a piece of Season of Wonder. So trimming, okay, is poinsettia and grid. You have Season of Wonder, which is holly and envelopes. You have a second Season of Wonder that is envelopes, because we're going to cut one of these out, okay? You have Making Spirits Bright, 2 of them, all in open stock, and the backside is red dot. Don't focus too much. I'm just quickly going to go through the kit, okay? Gift of Joy, which is the diamond, I call this diamond plaid with the craft floral. You have First Snow, 2 sheets of that. That is the black snow. I love this. With this, which you know makes a perfect background page. There are 2 sheets of that. And note this lovely black border because we will be using that as well. You have the frame that is called Evergreen with the plaid. You have Happy and Bright, which is the star with these snow, that's not snow, Vicky, they're branches. This is one of the things we'll fussy cut. You have Boughs of Holly that we're going to fussy cut because they're perfect. Why wouldn't you want to add a whole bunch of little embellishments? And then the, I call these doilies. They look like little snowflakes, doilies. We have Holiday Cheer, which is the words with the snowflakes. There are 2 sheets of that in open stock. And then you have, this is crepe paper, and it is called Stay Cozy. It is this red and pink plaid with the snowflakes. You have All is Bright, which is the snow, stars, and diagonal green stripe. And then you have Sweater Weather, which is the red stripes with the wood grain. So those are all of your open stock pieces of paper. Is the audio cutting out for anyone else? I don't know how I can fix it if it is the case, but I'm not sure if it is me or if it is Angela's connection. So let me know if the audio, no. So Angela, I would refresh or go out and come back in. So it is not an everybody's issue, it is a your Wi-Fi issue. Okay, so just double check that. But thank you for letting me know, because if it wasn't everybody one, then we could talk about it, right? In your cardstock, you have 2 white sheets, which I am using on Friday. I saved these for the card and tag day or afternoon night on Friday. Okay, two sheets of white cardstock. They are textured. If you're using smooth, doesn't matter, because some of it I'm going to actually use the smooth side. Okay. You have red cardstock. 3 sheets of red cardstock. You have green cardstock. There are 2 sheets of that. And then 2 sheets of aqua and a sheet of black. So what is that? 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 sheets of cardstock. Kits are huge, and because you guys all know I have an issue. I have issues. One of my issues is making sure that you guys get everything that you need and that the value is there. The other issue I have is I freaking love paper crafting, and I have a hard time knowing what to edit. I like to add all the things. We don't even use all of this. We will have lots extra, okay? You will have a sheet of vellum, which I love, is gold foil from Evergreen and Holly. And then you have half of a paper pad. And these paper pads do not have any names on it. So when we reference some of this stuff, I will say poinsettia with dark green words. I will say holly with red dot. These do not necessarily represent the same configuration as open stock. And there's a reason that I do this, because I can only have so many patterns and everything. And sometimes we design bonus papers. And let's talk about that. Like, what is a bonus paper? This is not in open stock, but I want you to have it. So it goes in the paper pad because I can put more papers in here. This is not in open stock, so it goes in the paper pad. So for some of you, you get mad at me because you're like, I bought the paper pad, the papers aren't the same. They're not. But I feel like it's a bonus that we add is by putting extra patterns in there. So just know this moving ahead with any Vicki Boutin collection, the paper pad does not necessarily exactly match the open stock. But here's another thing, friends. My paper pad is the only one with American Crafts that's double-sided. So if you are buying crepe paper thinking you're going to get all of your open stock, you will not. Or one sheet of everything with white on the back, right? So just understand that this is a Vicky Bouton thing. The paper pad does not exactly coordinate or match open stock. And there will be papers always in the paper pad that are not in the open stock paper. Okay? So if this is your first time doing this, you will know now. Does it matter if you only have a paper pad? No. You just will have to make your own personal choice of what paper you replace with the ones that might not match what I'm using. But guess what? It's all from the same collection, so it all matches. So don't get upset about it. It's all good. It is opportunity for personal selection. Okay? So everyone will have a paper pad that you will have things that you do not have in open stock, right? So it will all be in the paper pad. So now I'm going to talk about what we're using today. Okay, I'm going to talk about what you're going to be pulling out today. So have all of your papers handy, and we're going to go through my list, and I'm going to talk to you about how my brain works, which is scary for some of you who are going to be terrified to get into my head. But I'm moving all of that, and now I'm going to move over how I organize these classes. So this is where you'll understand where the added value of taking this class live with me is everything that just is happening right now, or live or recorded, whatever. But by doing one of these classes with me, I am going to guide you through every single step of building a 70-page album with interactive pieces. I'm going to help you organize all of the kit, and I'm going to cut every piece of paper with you. I will do the stamping, all of the things. The one thing I do not do with you, literally each piece, is putting stickers on and gluing your embellishments. But what I will do after we are done the whole class is I will do a recorded walkthrough of the entire album that then you can pause on that page and build a page at a time. If we did that, we would add probably another 5 hours onto these classes, right? So, hi Mom. There's my mom. Sheila's here. Been baking peanut butter cookies for your hubby. That's so nice, Dad. Enjoy your cookies. So everyone say hi, Vicky's mom. She's on here. She does not craft, but she loves being part of this community. So just so you know, we talk about all of our friends on here. My mom, if I mention a name, she knows exactly who I'm talking about. So I love it. So I have organized exactly what we're going to be using for today. I clip it and I put notes on it, right? And then we are going to go through. So here's my question for you. Because this is going to add about 40 minutes or a half hour on. Do you want me today to organize the entire kit into sections, or are we okay with just focusing on what we're doing today? And then on Saturday, we will separate the rest of the kit. I feel like let's only focus on what we're using today, and we'll separate the rest of the kit on Saturday. And I'll tell you why. I feel like for some of the people who are new here, that it can be overwhelming. We have 38 pieces of pattern paper, plus 36 out of a 6x8 album. So I just made the decision for myself. I asked you guys, and then I decided we're going to do what I want. For a reason, right? You guys know it. I always ask you and then just do what I want anyway. So you will see this is what it's going to look like on Saturday. All of this is separated. Bases of layouts. Layout papers that will happen on Sunday. All the album extras that we're cutting all of the rest of this on Saturday. There will still be probably 2 hours of paper cutting on Saturday, but it's a lot better than 3 or 4, right? And like I said, friends, I will never apologize for the amount of work I give you guys. You can decide after you do one of these classes. Some of you are going to only watch the whole live before you actually commit to doing any of it. Some of you are going to do it along with me, keeping on time. Some of you are going to do it along and pause the video as you go because you find it's a little overwhelming just understanding Vicki speak the first time you do the kit. Whatever way you do it is exactly right for you. I'm not going to tell you there's one right way to do this, but I will say I will provide you more information than probably most classes that you ever get. I will do it at a pace that tries to keep with the median of the group. Some of you will cut faster. Some of you are going to be a little slower. Here's the first golden nugget for paper cutting. Don't think about the cut. Listen to what I'm telling you to do. And that's why printing out the written and the cutting diagram and having too much to reference may be a lot for you, your brain to compute. I think it's better to literally just watch what I'm doing, listen to the measurement that I repeat 3 or 4 times, cut the cut, and just do the things. You decide though. You decide exactly how you want to do this, okay? I am moving all the, and can I just tell you, this is all the stuff we don't even use in this class. So I probably will end up giving you another bonus layout that I do at some point in December. And I will just say, hey, this week, this day, at this time, we're going to take the extras from the kit and I'm going to give you one more bonus layout. So just be ready for it. I know that it'll end up happening. Okay, so I'm moving this aside so it doesn't confuse us. And this is what I want you to pull. All right, friends? Listen and cut the cut. Yeah, measure twice, cut once. So friends, for today, this is what we are cutting, plus 3x4s and tags that are not on the cutting diagram because we don't need a diagram for that. The cutting is all outlined on the art of the paper, okay? So if you want a reference and you printed this, or you can look at it on your phone or on, you can pull it up as a separate file, whatever you want to do, or just listen to me. But this is the paper we're going to cut, plus the cut aparts. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. Please, from your stack of paper, grab boughs of holly. And this is what you're going to do. You're going to grab this. It's open stock, so it is the one with the name on it. Boughs of holly looks like this on the front, and it has the aqua doilies, the little doilies. So out of your stack, grab boughs of holly. Put it in your stack upside down like this. So then when we're done, you can flip it and you're ready to go. Okay, boughs of holly. The next paper, and then I'll go through the whole stack at the end again, okay? So if you miss one, just keep going. Find what you can find, and then at the end, I'll go through it again. The next paper is Holiday Cheer. It is the words with the aqua words on the background with the snow. So you need one sheet of open stock with the name on it, Holiday Cheer. Okay? I'm going to put that in my stack with the aqua words going up. Making Spirits Bright. You only need one sheet of this for right now, okay? It is the ledger paper with the holly in the corner. It is open stock with the name on it. Making Spirits Bright. The back side of this one is red polka dots. In my pile. So now you're going to grab your paper pad. Okay? Out of your paper pad is going to be the paper that has all of the houses on it. So this is meant to kind of represent a advent calendar, right? So this could be really cute. You could cut this apart from your extras, right? So you need this. Oh, and friends, we separated way too many of these paper pads. I'm going to list these this week, half pads. So if you want to bump up your stash or you're missing anything, I will be listing the half pads at a discount in my website, on my website this week. Okay. So you need this one. It looks like this and dark green on the background. We're using the green. I'm not using this side of it. I'm using it as a form of cardstock. Okay. So I'm going to put houses up. Out of your paper pad, please find the light green with the envelopes. Again, we're not using the envelope side because we have lots of envelope paper. We're going to be using the light green side for mats. Okay? So please grab your envelope paper out of the paper pad. Okay? Out of the paper pad. It's not open stock. Out of the paper pad. Please grab that light green with the envelopes. Envelopes up. How we doing? Okay? Out of your paper pad, please grab the doily. I call it doily. So this paper is an open stock as well, but this one is out of your paper pad. So the doily with the aqua words, open stock. Okay, open stock. And put that in your stack. And then you need, out of your paper pad, you need the ledger that has the red on the back. Okay, ledger with the red on the back. And put that in your stack. And then the last paper that we're going to be doing off of the cutting diagram. We're still grabbing other ones, but yes, it's everything we're doing right now, Angela's out of your paper pad. We've already picked all the open stock for the, this is what we're cutting out of the cutting diagram. What I'm sharing with you are just the papers on the cutting diagram. So the last one out of the paper pad is the, I call this craft floral with diagonal red stripe. Yeah, Holes paper pad. Holes paper pad. That is a great reference. Okay. So I'm going to paper clip this stack because I know it goes with my cutting diagram. Oh, the only other thing you can add to this, friends, is vellum. Grab your vellum sheet and put it in that stack. Okay. Put your vellum in this stack. It is on here, right? And there's another paper we're going to add out of your stack that is on the cutting diagram. You ready? Please grab out of your paper pad the black and white branches that have the squares. And I'll flip through them and again, Lee, okay? Out of your paper pad. This is going to be for the layouts, but we're going to cut because we're going to fussy cut. So please grab this one as well to put with your stack. So it is branches with these squares and it's in your paper pad. Question, what is the difference between making spirits bright with ledger with... It's just I'm doing exactly where I cut and used from, if that makes sense. Exactly where the paper came from. And I'll tell you why. Because some, like if I'm using the ledger with the layouts, remember the colors don't match. So if you use an open stock one, and then you should have used it out of your paper pad, but you need both of those for a double page layout, your color intensity will be different. So it's not that the papers are different, Kristen. I'm just telling you exactly where I got everything as I made, just so it matches exactly what I did. Okay? So I will do a flip through again of this. You need boughs of holly, which is out of your open stock. And it has the doilies. You need holiday cheer. Holiday cheer, which is the words and the aqua words. You need out of your open stock, making spirits bright. with the red dot. See, it's different. Did you know that? Notice that, Kristen? This one is red polka dot and the other one's solid red. Okay, so you need Making Spirits Bright Ledger with the red dot. You also need, out of your paper pad now, is the green, darker green with the houses, light green with envelopes, the doilies with the aqua words, but out of your paper pad. Hole at the top means paper pad. That's why I don't cut any of these off, so I know where I got it. You need ledger with solid red, Kristen, see, solid red, and not the dots. And then you need the craft floral with a diagonal red stripe, all out of your paper pad. You need your vellum sheet, and also out of the paper pad, the black and white branches with the squares. Okay, friends? The other thing I'm going to mention right now, and maybe you can type this, Natalie, is hover over your screen and press the live button. If you press the live button, it means that you are currently watching at the time that you're watching matches with me speaking. Okay? So it is another golden nugget, is to click the live button. Should have a red dot beside it, and that means that you are actually lined up with current time of the live video. So you might not have known that, so that's super helpful. Okay, so those are the papers that are going to coordinate with this cutting diagram for our prep. Now the next thing we're going to pull, and this is what we're going to start with our cutting, is the pieces that are literally just cutting the art. So please grab, and clips and everything, I find, make this so, it's a tool. Paper clips and these clips, any kind of clips that you have, are super helpful. So say the stack fell on the floor. I don't have a panic because it's all together. If I have very limited, maybe you're doing this on vacation and working on a desk in the hotel. I find the more organized you are with this whole process, it makes it so much easier. So it's not just to another thing to add to the list. It is, I think, a total golden nugget of doing any kind of class, is having those little things to secure your bits. Okay? So from your paper pad, please grab the tag paper. Look at all of this awesome art. So grab your tag paper from the paper pad that has these beauties on the back. So please grab that tag paper and put that in your stack. This is what we will start with. It's a good warm-up, okay? Also grab out of your paper pad the 3x4 cut-aparts. They look like this on the front, and then the back is this lovely, kind of looks like a knit sweater snowflake, okay? Put that in your stack. It's out of the paper pad. Please grab your 3 or 4x6s with the border pieces and put that in your stack. And then look at this, friends. These are the envelopes we're going to cut out. So out of your open stock paper, grab the other Season of Wonder, or grab the Season of Wonder. This is where the cut apart envelopes come from, this paper. And it does matter because it's not the same on front and back, I don't believe, right? So when we go to cut the envelopes apart, it's out of Season of Wonder. And we're going to cut all of these out. Okay, I love these envelopes. I would put these in every single collection if you guys would still buy them. So would you be mad if that paper showed up with a different pattern on it in every collection? I freaking love the envelopes. I think that it is brilliant, if I may say so myself. I love it. The other tool that you're going to need that I just realized I didn't add is you may want a craft knife and a steel ruler with a cutting mat, because we are going to cut on a lot of these envelopes the line right here. You can do it on your paper trimmer. It's just a little trickier, but there is another golden nugget. You may want your cutting mat, a steel ruler, and a craft knife, okay? So please, this is what we're gonna start with. I'm gonna go through it again. You need your tags, your 3x4s out of your paper pad, your 4x6 combo, your Season of Wonder for the envelopes, out of open stock, no hole, it's open stock. Okay, yay. Hi, Lori Janes. Can I tell my friends something? So it hasn't been announced, but guess where I'm going to be in the spring with my only live in-person classes pretty much in Canada other than Moncton, is I'm going to be at Scrap Fest, friends. I haven't worked out all the details, but I'm going to be doing 2, possibly 3 exclusive only taught at Scrap Fest classes in Kitchener, Ontario. So be watching for that. I'm sure they will fill up fast because it's probably a max of 50 I can get in those classes. But I am going to be doing a bonus Christmas class using a whole bunch. It's all going to be brand new. I am going to be doing a print shop class and possibly a mixed media class. So I'm just going to put that out there. Yes. So it will be the only in-person live class that I'm teaching. It is far away, Irene, but for the people that go, I want them to be marking that. I don't know, it's in April. I think April 13th weekend. So nothing's been announced, and Lisa might kill me that I just said it, but I want you guys to get my VBoo crew better represent. Man, it's going to be so much fun. Please grab your 6x8 pad, and we're going to pull out some more. But don't forget, Irene, I'm going to be coming to Nova Scotia. I am coming. I'm going to 100% going to book a weekend at my stamping studio, because I haven't seen Kelly and Mike and all of my friends, Easterners, in a long time. So I just have to get that on my calendar somewhere. Even if it's just for a day, I will fly out and go and tour around a bit and just teach for a day if I have to. Yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. Okay, grab your 6x8 pad. How are we doing, friends? Because we've been at this for a while, but I feel like this is going to be a helpful thing that I'm doing by doing this bonus one, right? Well, Sharon, if you move to Newfoundland, maybe you can zip over to Nova Scotia when I come to do that weekend. That I haven't even made a plan with Kelly yet, but I'll just tell her, hey, I'm coming. Fit me in your schedule somewhere. Out of your 6x8 pad, please grab this lovely, I love this page. So it probably is near the back. We used to put these all at the back, but now they kind of filter throughout the pad. Please grab this one with the calendar piece and the little tiny red stars. So grab that out of your pad. Grab the tags that are just the word tags, like the art tags, with the craft words, right? Please grab, I think, both plain tags with the red dots. Grab both of these. They're just awesomeness. I love these. These will be in every collection in some form. I just love these for putting titles, for journaling. I love, love, love these. And they're just represented with the art from the collection. So grab both of those. And then I think I only cut one of the 3x4s. Okay. So I'm going to go through that again, friends, and then you need your paper trimmer, your scissors, and let's get started. And your paper clips. Mine are ready, okay? So we'll start by cutting these because this is the last thing, right? So you need this piece with the red stars. You need the word art tags, 2 of the plain tags, and then the 3x4. Okay, and we're going to start cutting these and clipping them. So I'm going to recommend too that when you cut these and clip these, because there are other, yes, there are other 3x4s and such, that you keep them with a sticky note that says from your 6x8s. Okay, so you're going to clip them all separately. So let's grab your paper trimmer, and this is a great warm-up. Okay, where's your paper trimmer, Vicki? I have been doing here. I've been doing so well, right? Question. Woo! Will there ever be a time when the 12x12 and 6x8 pad come without a hole on the top? No, and I'll tell you why, Lisa. Because this is the paper pads. There are not a lot of independent retailers anymore. So the reason that a lot of us still get to do collections is because Joanne and some of the bigger box buy them. A lot of this is designed to fit a peg wall. So there is probably never going to be a paper pad that doesn't have a hole in the top, because a lot of retail stores also display their paper pads on a peg wall. So no, I'm going to tell you no. It never probably will come out without that. Okay? Yes, my mother is definitely coming to Kitchener, and I might even talk my daughter into coming with me too. Any questions before we get started? You need your paper trimmer, your paper clips. Have your sticky notes and a writing utensil handy. Have your ruler and whatever you're doing your scoring with. This is what you need now, okay? A corner rounder and a circle punches. And let's do the things. I'm going to start with this paper. So what are we going to do? We're going to cut the art. So we're going to cut the December as one piece and these 2 little holiday activities and Christmas favorites out. I hold my paper trimmer like this just so you guys can see what I'm doing. Do I hold this differently? Yeah, I either trim my paper like this or like this. But I'm doing it like this so you can see the direction that I'm putting it in the trimmer, okay? So I can go ahead. It's hard to see, so sorry if my head gets in the shot, okay? And I'm going to trim these pieces apart. So don't overthink this. Just get in there and cut your cuts. Okay? If it's not perfectly clean, trim it now or trim it later, whatever you want to do. So this is out of your 6x8 pad, and we're going to cut this. All the simple cut aparts we're doing today. See, and I'll clean up. I don't necessarily cut it perfectly. Just go back in and cut your cuts. Clean it all up. Yes, I love my mummy. She will definitely be there. I will find her a comfy chair, and she just comes to observe. She is my supervisor. She tells me if I did it right or not. Right, Mom? Okay, so now I'm going to clip these 3 pieces together, and that is our first clip and flip, right? Clip it and put it over in your cut pile. I'm going to now cut my tag paper out. Yeah, you can save these. They make great little flag banners, right? Like if you want to add a flag banner to something. I just cut the whole part off. I cut my little V. And then that makes great little pieces for your cards and for your pages, right? So I don't throw those away. You could cut the whole thing apart and just have a whole little bowl or packets of little flag banners. Now, when we cut some of the paper, we clip the banner pieces on the paper for open stock, so it's a quick reference. For the paper pads, it doesn't really matter. My mother, you don't listen to me. Sometimes I do, Sheila. Not all the time. Right? Stop telling me what to do, Mom. Okay, so cut your tags apart. Doing the things. Like I said, some of these aren't going to be perfect. I'll clean it up when I need to use them. But for now, I'm not clipping these little pieces off yet or anything. I'm just going to put it together. And we can do this. There we go. So that is another piece from my 6x8s. And then a lot of times you'll know where it came from by what's on the back, because it doesn't necessarily match the open stock, right? Or even the paper pad sometimes. So I'm going to put that in my stack, because I will know all of this at the end is from 6x8s. Like this stack is all for my 6x8s. So if you are watching after the fact, you can fast forward through any of the bits where you're like, she talks too much, I just really want to get to the cutting. Then you can always watch. Don't watch live then, and do it after the fact if you don't enjoy or you don't need all the additional info that I'm providing. Then just watch it after the fact and you can just zip through the cutting, right? Because each of us come to a class like this and want different things from it, or enjoy certain things and other things you don't like so much. If you feel like it's something you can add that you think will be helpful for other people, go ahead and let me know or post it on the board. If you don't like the sound of my voice, it irritates you, you don't need to post that on the board, right? This is not easy necessarily to get out and put yourself out there. So if you think it's constructive and you think it's helpful, that's great. If you think you just want to say something that is just personal opinion, some of those things are just better to tell your friend or your dog. You don't need to tell Vicky or anybody else, right? So I'm going to put all of these tags, actually, I'll put them separately. So I know I have 2 stacks of them, right? Because one is going to be for layouts and one we're going to use throughout the album. And here's the other thing. You might finish this class and you take it to a crop to do all your like stickers and all the rest. And a friend might say, I love this. Can I still get the kit? Yes, I have kits left. And they can sell in the month of February. You can still do a Christmas album, right? So you can tell your friends that if I have kits left, I will sell them all year until they're gone, right? Because you might take one of these and you might have a friend. I'm sure it's happened. I know already some of you are here because you've seen one of your friends' projects, right? And then you're like, I want to do that. Who is this Vicky Booten? How do I get in? Yeah. Anybody can come and join our crew, right? The other thing that's sometimes helpful on some of these is to show the opposite side as well. So you have quick reference to what's on the front and the back of the paper. So a lot of times I will clip one of the pieces. I used all of these as just the tags, but you can clip one with the opposite side up and put that there. He's not listening anyway, right? I love that, Lisa. Well, people forget that, I get it. You have your frustrations, and if it's something I can correct or fix, you guys know that I will. I can't fix or change the sound of my voice or the singing because it's who I am, right? But the other thing is, this isn't easy to put yourself out there and to organize all this stuff and do the things. And I think it's only human nature. Sometimes we will focus on the negative more than we focus on the positive. Like I could get tons of responses where people are like, I love that class. And I can get one person who posts something that isn't very nice. And it affects you because it's hard. You put yourself out there, right? And you want everybody to like you. And it's not ever going to be the case, right? So I'm always like, you can feel those things. I don't feel like you need to share it on social media, really in reference to anything. Right? The old adage, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all, or find something nice to say. Not that I get it. You guys are all pretty good. And here's the other thing. If this isn't your cup of tea, you don't have to buy another class or access only, right? Find another class that fits you better. Because there's lots out there. Lots of my friends offer different classes, right? For this one for sure, I'm going to flip one with the black side up. So I have a quick reference when I'm like, where was on this day? Is it from the 12 by 12 paper? Is it from the 6 by 8? And I will know that the back side is different and I'll know which paper it came from, right? So that is my 6 by 8 stack. And I can do this so they're ready for me. I can stick a sticky note on it that says 6 by 8. 6 by 8. And now I'm super organized and I look like I really know what I'm doing. And then I'll set those aside. I love that, Angela. And you know, like I feel like this is the way to do it, but it's because it's how my brain works. Not everybody's brain is going to work the same way as mine. So for some of you, you might be like, I can't follow along with how Vicky does this. It doesn't work. But you will find another class that is like, it's like Goldilocks, right? You just got to find that perfect fit. For me, this works. This is how my brain works, right? So what do we need next? We want the cut aparts, wherever I put them. I just have to find them because I moved them. So the 12 by 12 cut aparts is the next thing we're going to cut. The 12 by 12 cut aparts that I lost. I don't know where I put them, so just give me a second. Look I was being such a show off and having everything so organized. And now I don't know where I put them. Vicky, they have to be here. Oops, there goes all my envelopes on the floor. Are they in here and I just didn't realize? No? Just give me a second, friends, to figure out where... Oh, here, I found them. I just put them on the other side of my computer. Here we go. Look to your left. You were right, Samantha. They're here. Okay. I guess you were meant to be working in the dark, Lee. Working in the dark. So now you're going to see what I'm talking about. The scale in the 6 by 8 of these tags is smaller. So that will be a heads up when you're looking for things. The other thing is the ones we cut out of the 12 by 12 have a tag on the back. The other ones have pattern on the back, okay? Here we go. So I'm going to cut the barcode off the top. I'm not keeping that. You can if you want. And then we're going to cut them into 3 rows and then cut your tags out, okay? Cut them into 3 rows and cut the tags out. So who has their Christmas tree up or their lights outside? I have 2 trees up and my upstairs is pretty much decorated. I rented a storage area because I'm going to move the egg chair out of my studio so that I have more room, and I'm going to put my Barbie tree up this week and decorate down here for Christmas. So I will be doing that. I need to... Is Valerie on here today? Has anybody seen Valerie? I have to find out when Valerie is back home because I'd like to go meet her for lunch. And then I will get everything ready as well for this weekend. Very excited about that. I put up 5 trees yesterday, but haven't decorated all of them. Yes, I know it's a lot, but I love Christmas. And how long do you keep it up, Catherine? I don't think it's a lot. If you enjoy that, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. But I'm also of the school that I don't judge anybody. If you want 20 Christmas trees, who am I to decide that that's right or wrong, right? I always am like, sure, put up as many of the things. Do all the things that you like to do. Your tree's going up tomorrow. I love it. We will leave them up until the second week of January. I love that. And mine will be up a little bit. We're going on a family vacation, so I'm very excited about that. So my Christmas will be up into the month of January. I will tackle that when I get home. Okay, so just cut your strips apart, my friends. You might not, like none of mine, it's very hard to cut it exactly on the line. So you can always go back and clean them up after, okay? I love it. You have 2 new kittens. So, Angela, did you see I laughed when Paige was putting her Christmas tree up and she takes a picture far away from the tree and then a little closer and then a close-up and then you see her cat's face in the middle of the Christmas tree. And I'm like, that would give me a heart attack because they could take your whole tree down, right? Or don't chew on anything that's going to hurt you, kitty. Yeah, so I don't know about a Christmas tree and 2 new kittens, right? You might have to only have a ceramic one today. Hi, Jill. Question. Will we have a lunch break? I am going to power through. You can do whatever works for you. I might do like a 10-minute break. What time do we start? 11:30, 12:30, 1:30? Because my plan is to go like till 3:30 today, no later than 4. Okay? And I'm hoping that like this isn't going to take too long now. Like we don't have a lot now that I explained all of the things, but we will definitely have a little bit of a break, okay? Because I know some of you need to get up, stretch your legs. So we'll take a 15-minute at 1:30. Okay, 1:30 Eastern time. Does that work for you, Jill? A 15-minute at 1:30. And if you need more time, then just you can watch it after the fact. It doesn't have to be live, okay? So there is my tags for my 12 by 12 cutout. And now I'm going to cut my 3 by 4, which are the same pattern, but larger scale. When I was a kid, we wired our Christmas tree to the wall so the cats climbed it. It would not fall over. That's a great idea, Connie. Need to refill your water and tea mug. Yes, for sure. We will do a little break because I know that just because I power through and don't eat or drink or go to the bathroom or do any of the things, I shouldn't assume that it works for everybody else. So thank you, Jill, for reminding me that people need a break because you know me. I'd be like, talking away all day and just doing it. Okay? So let's cut now these into 4-inch strips as well and then cut all the art out. So just keep, this is a good warm up. You're getting comfortable with your trimmer. You're getting comfortable with the pace. And then we will do the heavy lifting cutting next, okay? So, and hello friends out there who aren't really chatting with me because one, you might not have a YouTube account or a Google account, so you're not set up to be able to chat on YouTube. Hello, I hope you're doing well out there. And some of you who are just lurkers, you like to lurk, but you don't really like to chat. I see you, friends. I hope you're having a good time out there. And for some of my friends who are going to be joining us after the fact, who aren't doing it live, I will definitely come back and check questions or comments on the regular section. When this video isn't live anymore, all of the comments will need to be made in just the regular section underneath the video. And I will definitely make sure that I come back and check periodically. Thank you, Tracy. I love the chatting and cutting as well, Laura, and I know some don't. So here's the whole thing is, well, like I've said, right? If it's not your thing, you can mute it and just do your cutting. You don't have to watch the live videos. You could just enjoy your instructions and do it. Or not do the class, I guess, right? You find your own thing, whatever works. But my system is my system. I can't do it any differently than what I do, because it wouldn't be very true to Vicky, right? If I didn't do it this way. And don't forget, again, this is not like just a 10-page little album. 70 pages. Some people are like, oh, that's excessive. I don't need all of that. Then don't make them all, right? Pick the ones that you love, add it to your album. Do whatever, but I can't change the way I do this because it's how my brain works, right? I can't teach the same way someone else would teach because, well, that wouldn't be very authentic, right? I need to do it my way. So hopefully my way works for you. And if not, you find your workaround, right? Find the way that this works for you. But I have been teaching this type of album and these Christmas albums for, I don't know, at least 10 years, I think. At least 10. And I find that it has worked up to this point, so I don't think I'm going to change it, right? But I do love the idea of splitting it up a little bit when these kits just keep getting bigger and bigger. So again, remember, friends, put the other side so it's represented. And you will know then that I will tell you it's from the 12 by 12, okay? So that's what we're going to do for the 3 by 4s. Hi, Debbie. How are you, my friend? So I'm going to go in now to my 4 by 6s-ish. We switched this up so we could have some vertical and horizontal representation. So portrait and, what is the other one? I just forgot. Portrait and, what is the other? I forgot. Me too, Rosemary. I'm very happy that you found me as well. So if you want to know where the art stops and ends, then measure this at 6-ish inches. It's going to be that beige line. But this is a little different, and then it might not be, like mine's a little bit shorter than 6 with how I cut it. So I will end that with that border. So I am going to cut holiday shopping, wrapping the gifts, trimming the trees, sewing the lights, seeing the lights. I'm cutting that as a tiny little border. And then I'll cut it right above the numbers, okay? I'm going to clean it up because I didn't cut it very straight. Oh no, Debbie. I hope you feel better. And sorry that my head is in the shot, friends. It's really hard to line some of this stuff up. Landscape. Thank you, portrait landscape. I couldn't remember. So I'm going to cut that little beige border. I don't think I used it, but it's freaking awesome. So that will make a little border maybe on in our bonus class. Because, you know, making 10 layouts and a 70-page album and cards and tags. If that's not enough, I'll just throw another one in there. But how pretty is that? We need that. And I love the stitching on it. So if you don't like pulling your sewing machine out, we could fake it. And now I'll just cut the numbers as 1. And then this is a 4-ish. This bottom piece, 4 by 12. That I'll cut my pieces of. There we go. So I'm going to clip these two right out of the, I don't think I use these at all. And then start cutting your 4 by 6s out. I love these. That prompt journaling, this is going to end up being a flap on one of our pages. We're going to score it and it's going to be a flap. And then look at, I love these. Winter activities, family tradition, Christmas carol, so your favorites. I love it. Holiday food. What is your favorite holiday food? What are some of your favorites? What's your favorite holiday drink? Alcoholic or non-alcoholic? Are you a hot cocoa person? Do you like a little Baileys in your coffee? Do you love a chocolate or a peppermint martini? Do you love all the flavored teas that come out this time of year? Tell me. That's a nice little thing to talk about. And it's going to be one of those things we talk about as we build these pages and actually fill all of this stuff out this month. Oprah's Crantini. I love it. Cosmos. I love it. I just discovered Bailey's in my coffee. I don't have it. This is just coffee, but well, I was never a hot beverage drinker. This is all a new thing. I drank tea, but never coffee, and now I'm a coffee drinker. So there you go. So I do definitely enjoy that. Little something something. Peppermint shake. I love it. Did you see that Wendy's just came out with like peppermint frosties? Did you see that? So I am going to clip, I'm going to leave that separate, friends. The border separate. I'm going to clip my 4x6s with the polka dot side showing as well. So it's a quick reference, and I'm going to leave these separate. I just saw someone post it, and I don't know if it's in Canada as well, but I do know it is in the US. They have a pink, I think it's slightly pink, peppermint frosty. It's like a shamrock shake, right? Eggnog, yummy. I love white chocolate peppermint martini. Oh, I have had coquito. Coquito, very traditional in Puerto Rico. Guess what? I'm going to be in Puerto Rico in March. I love Puerto Rico. I've missed you guys. I have not seen you in a long time, my Puerto Ricans. So it's not for class or anything. I'm coming on vacation, but I will be in Puerto Rico in March. And now I'm drinking iced coffee because it's totally freezing cold. Okay, friends. So let's not make this hard. Cut the barcode off because it's beautiful. We can use that as a border. Clip it with your border page. And I'm going to show you how I cut my envelopes out, because for the most part, I used my paper trimmer. This does not have to be fussy cussing. This literally can just be cutting out these shapes. No classes. No, it's a vacation, because Vicky needs one, right? I need a vacation. So, yeah, I love coquito. That's how I say it, right? Coquito or coquito? Yes, I love it. So, I'm going to take this and find the easiest way, whatever it is for you, to cut the line at the base of each envelope. Right? So, line that up. And I'm going to cut each strip at the base. Cut each strip at the base. The peppermint frosty is on the Canadian menu. That's awesome. My son will love that. He loves peppermint. Okay. And then guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to cut them like a square first. So go through, cut them like a square. And every time I see coquito, it makes me think of coqui. Coqui, coqui. The little tiny frogs in Puerto Rico. I love that at nighttime too. And I actually got to hold one. And I was very excited in my friend's garden. I got to see one, a real live coqui. And now I'm going to go through and just cut the angle. You can do this with the scissors, whatever you're most comfortable with, but I'm going to go through like that, and then I can just clean up and round my edges with my scissors, right? So see, that gives me my little envelope, and then I want to maybe round the little corner. You could do it with a tiny little corner rounder if you want to, or just cut it. And then I'm going to round the little corners on the edge and on the edge. And then if you wanted to later, you could round the bottom corners. I'm not going to do that, but okay. Did you say Chick-fil-A has a peppermint frosty-ish ice cream thing with little chunks of peppermint in it? And we do have Chick-fil-A in downtown Toronto now. I'm waiting for them to open more, but there is one there. But now I can go over to Buffalo as well, has a Chick-fil-A, which is newer to this area, right? I'm just catching my bits in my bowl. How we doing, friends? I know some of you probably are leaving me or going to watch the rest later. Whatever you need to do, this is pretty much just how the rest of this afternoon is going to go, right? There's one in Barrie as well. I didn't know that. With white chocolate chips. That's interesting. I am not a sweets person. I much prefer savory things. So, I don't try a lot of that stuff. And I'm no fun at all at the party because I don't like dairy really anymore, so I don't do milkshakes or anything. So, see how no fun I am? So I would buy the Frosties for my family, but I wouldn't partake. Now, if it was a pretzel with cheese sauce, I'd be all over that. Right, Kari? If you're still out there, my friend? Yorkdale has one too, and I went downtown. I saw one. I went downtown. That's excellent, Jill. Let's just keep going. It's time consuming, but worth it, friends, because now you think what the investment in a little piece of paper is that you then get, they're 9 envelopes? I think 9, right? 12? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. That's the math, Vicky. Got to do some maths. Frosties and French fries. Yeah, I know a lot of people love to dip their, fries and ice cream. The salt and the sweet, right? I laugh. We were at One of a Kind Arts and Craft sale, and there was a company there selling butter tarts. And there were, when we stopped to have a drink, my friend Janice and I, there was 2 ladies telling us, you need to buy these butter tarts. They're the best butter tarts ever. And I'm like, oh, really? I'm like, that's a hard thing because my mother makes the best crust, like pie crust pies. She just very good baker. So I'm like, that's hard because my mom makes amazing butter tarts. And they're like, nope, it's the thinnest crust I've ever had. And I bought 1. I didn't buy 12 or a dozen. I bought 1 and I threw it. I had a bite and I threw it away. Because I'm like, sorry, my mother makes, her butter tart is like 100 times better. Now, are my American friends familiar with butter tarts? Because I know some of these things are definitely like Canadian, like Nanaimo bars, butter tarts. I wonder what other things are definitely, and I laugh, pecan or pecan pie. So it's like that, I think, right? But in a tart. So it's like that. So you will have them. A butter tart is I'm sure it's a French thing. It probably started with us being very much French inspired, or I don't know, what would you call it? Like we have a lot of French Canadians and then the English side of Canada. And butter tarts are like a caramel in a tart, and they come either plain with raisins, with pecans, and they are amazing, like absolutely amazing. And it's a tart, and it's a very big thing. So now I'm going to try to get, hey mom, want to make me some butter tarts for the weekend so I can show people what a butter tart looks like and eat one? So it's like a caramel in a tart. And if your mom is a really good baker, or you know your grandma or you are, the crust should be flaky as all heck, and it's delicious. Yeah, it is amazing. But I think it is definitely a French thing. I had French cookies for Thanksgiving, the meringue ones. Like, what are they called? I just forgot. Oh my goodness, what are those cookies called? Vicky totally forgot. That I buy when I am in France, but I don't like them at all. Macaron. Yes, thank you. A macaron. And I've had them though that are very good, I have to say. But I did buy like $40 macarons when I was in Paris, and I did not think they were good. But of all the places, when I was in Utah, I had one, and they were flavored and absolutely delicious. But yeah. Vicky, anytime you want taste of Cajun food, let us know and we will treat you well. We feed for scrap advice. I love it, Susan. Can I tell you what I like? So one of my favorite places I've ever been is New Orleans. And I had crawfish etouffee. And here's what I freaking love crawfish. Like, love crawfish. That's why when we were in Texas and they were talking about you need to come in crawfish season, where they do the big crawfish jumble bake whatever, where you put your bib on and eat them. And I'm like, I'm down for that. I would love to experience that. But I absolutely love crawfish. Question, Vicky, might your mother share her pastry butter tart recipe? She probably will. I could get it. Maybe I could have that and I'll post it on our group page. I have to tell you that I made pastry once, and what my trick was I think it's really important is I put butter in my pastry and I crumbled it all in, like did the crumbing, where I bought the tool that looks like all the little open spots and put ice cold butter that I crumbled into my flour, like by just running that thing, or people do it with forks. And I think that creates lots of air in your pastry, and that was magic. It's called a crawfish boil. I would love to experience that. But yes, my mother makes freaking amazing, right? Some use butter, some use shortening, but her pies are out of this world. She's a good cook, period. And then I was mad because she told me, like, peanut butter cookies today. And then I'm like, where's my peanut butter cookie? And also she told me she was having beef stew and dumplings the other day. And my family won't eat stew or soup. So I didn't get that either. She didn't give me a bowl of that either. Very nice, don't you think? Especially because I have a family full of, like, picky, no fun eaters. And who doesn't like a big pot of soup or stew? My freaking family. That's who. Are you trimming both pages up? No. No, Kim. Only what I showed you. Okay? No. Do you like that? No. Just one. Just one. So that is one pack. And I'm going to tell you now, for my envelopes, which ones to keep aside for the layout. Okay? Where did I have it was at a golf and country club is where I had the macarons. And I have to say, whoo, I enjoyed them because they were like flavored. The jam in the middle was flavored, so they were delicious. So for your envelopes, once they are cut, I made a note here that we want to set aside the holly leaf, the red stripe, Did I not? Oh, I missed two. I'm not done, so ignore me for a minute. I missed two. I didn't cut them all. Can't tell you this part yet because Vicky got excited and didn't cut that part. So this will be perfect. When we're done this, we will take our bathroom break and then we're going to get into the cutting diagram. And that will be it for today. That is what my plan is for prep. I did not cut all my envelopes. Wasn't yelling at you either, Kim. I just was like, oh no, don't cut anything else. Just the one page that was open stock. It wasn't out of the paper pad. And we only used one. Because I have a lot of people who freak out over the fussy cutting. And you know who you are. So I try to keep it minimal. But I have to do it. Because how do you not cut this page of beautiful envelopes out, right? Okay. And now I can do my explanation of what you need to set aside. And then the other ones will be for the album. And one set is for your layouts. And then just you don't have to try to find them later. They're separated. And thank you, friends who are chatting with me, because it would be kind of boring if all you did was watch me cut and I had nothing to reply to. So thank you for taking a minute to just kind of keep the conversation going. Because otherwise it literally would be me just blabbering on. Well, some of you might already think that happens, but okay. So do we have any of our friends from England here? What time is it? Australia, New Zealand? Are any of you guys watching? There we go. Peanut butter cookies will be delivered. Oh, Mommy, you're the best. I love beef stew. And my mother puts turnip in it. And I have to say, as a kid, I thought it was the grossest thing ever. Excuse me. And now I love, hey Noah, I love 6:30 in England. Hello, Claire. I love turnip in my stew. Okay. Doo-doo. Let's talk about separating our envelopes now for real. And it's 7:30 in Norway. I love that. And I love that you guys are here so much. And I love that you're always here, Christy, and figuring out where you find all of the stuff that you need. All right. So for the layouts, you need the holly envelope. You need red stripes. You need green stripes. Which green? There's two different green stripes, Vicky. I'll look at it in a minute. So I'm going to put this here. I think it's this one because it's both green. Green stripes. Light blue with, black stripe. Black stripe. Holly, red stripes, green stripes, black stripes, light blue, and dark green. What is that, Vicky? Oh, light blue, dark green. I'm going to see. Now let's just confirm because I think Vicky's just making stuff up now. Let's find the layout because Vicky's making stuff up. Okay. Whoop, whoop. Throwing stuff away. So there is black and light green. Black and light green. Okay, black and light green. blue, red. So all the stripes. And then the holly one is on a different page. So let's look at that quick. Where did I use it? I did not use the holly one, I don't think, on here. I think I'm making stuff up now. Let's see, Holly, are you anywhere? No, I don't see it, so maybe I didn't use it. We'll decide. We'll put it in that stack, but I don't think I used the holly one. Okay. So for sure, all the striped ones, okay, for your layout. All the stripes, click, and I'll put layouts. And for right now, I'll keep this in the other stack. So I will put on here, layouts. And then let's show you in here where we use this. There's a page in here with 3 pockets. And then there's probably one I didn't use anywhere. Yeah, I don't think I used that one. And then this one is in the album. Okay, these 3 are going to be on this page in the album. I don't think I used that. I think it will probably be a bonus, and I'll look at my scraps and I'll know. Okay, so I will click this together and put that over there. And now you can take, it is 1:33. I'm going to start back up at 1:45. Okay, so if you want to have, oh, it's on the card. You're right. This is on the card. So let's put card. Thank you. Card. Cards. You're the best. Thank you. It's probably right in front of me too. There. Okay. Hey, Vicky. I don't chat much because I can't reach my laptop when I'm working, but I love listening to you talk and sing. Thank you, Mary. So a quick break. Question, I only had 1 page of cutout directions. Was there supposed to be 2? No, Brenda, not yet. There will be 3 more pages of cutting directions. But if I posted all of them on the page right now, people would be like, it would be way too confusing. So when I post the rest of the instructions this week, which I'm aiming for tomorrow, because now I have to decide. You guys can go take your break if you want, right? These are the other 3 pages that will be posted. This is going to be the 6x8s. This is our layouts. And this is the album. Now on these are some that we're going to be cutting today. So I'm not going to draw the whole thing out. What I will do is we'll cross off the ones we don't need to cut on these pages. But all of this will be posted in the group tomorrow, right? All of this will be posted in the group tomorrow. See you later, Noah. Is what I'm aiming for tomorrow afternoon. But for today, this is all we need, is the one here. And here's the card right there with that envelope. So you guys are 100% correct. Question, are we putting the slit in any of the envelopes? We are, but not right now. You can if you want while you're waiting. Let's talk about that. While you're waiting, you could totally go in and all of them have slits in them, right? So if you want to, you could go in here and you could do it on your paper trimmer if you want to, like that. or you could use your craft knife. Like, it's hard to see exactly where to start and stop. If you have a rotary blade, do not do that. Or you could grab, if I can find mine, handily. This is very well loved cutting mat. You could take your cutting mat and you could cut it with your X-Acto knife. Or do you guys have any other suggestions? When it's an interior cut, you can't really get in there with your scissors, right? So that's the other thing you could do. Because that leaves it open so that you can slide things inside. See you later, Dandy. So yes, I'm going to get, the only other thing I am doing in this video, in this live, is this cutting diagram, which is 10 pieces of paper. We're going to cut 10 pieces of paper and do some scoring and such. And that will be it for this video, okay? Or this little prep session. So if you have to cut this into, because it is for some of you the weekend, right? And for my American friends, it's still the weekend from your Thanksgiving. So you could be doing different things right now that your family requires your time. So I totally understand that. For some of my friends in other countries, with the time difference, you're done for tonight. Whatever you need to do, okay? That's okay, Lori. I totally know you guys are out there, right? Or putting away fall. Yeah, I didn't even... Only fall that came out were the pumpkins I bought with Kari and Jer, and the pumpkin that Rich made. I had no other fall decorations because all I do is work, right? Hi, all. Is there anybody here from Sherwood, Quebec area? I love that, Lisa. Yeah, I'm sure you guys could find crafty friends in your area when we have like over 200 people on here, right? We could be eating all these leftovers. Yeah, send some my way. I think it's going to be a ribs night tonight here in this house. And we have a whole chicken still left in the fridge. But I did not eat anything yet today. I forgot. We're disposing of mushy pumpkins on the front porch. Yeah. Do all those things, right? I'm cutting all of them in the middle. All of them. Okay? All of them. Won't hurt anything. Just cut them all. So if you need a bathroom break, go and take it. If you need to go walk the dog, hug your children, say hi to your husband, or give him a honey-do list, or your significant other, whatever you need to do. This is the time to do it, because I am going to be firing it back up in a few minutes. I might grab myself a diet cherry Coke. I think I need that today. And then I have lots of work that we need to get done this week. We have a lot of things that I will be making a list for my husband to help me with. Happy birthday, Pam. Question, where did you get that little cutting tool? This is from Fiskars. I think they still sell them. So back in the day, right? It's meant to be used like this, but I don't use it like this. But it's a finger tool, right? That you can use it and support, and it actually does. It's a great ergonomical kind of thing, right? The feel of that. Ergonomic. So this is how it's meant to be. And this is an original because I used to work for Fiskars back in the year when they were back in the day. They used to be very involved in paper crafting. And I worked for Fiskars. That's how you say it, like a pirate. Fiskars. So I have like every tool you can imagine. because scrapbooking back in the day was a huge industry. And I have been doing this for over 20 years as a job, right? I'm at work. I'm cutting along with everyone. But on the other side of the desk and can't reach the keyboard all the time. That's okay, Darcy. I use the same tool, Vicky, to cut my envelopes. Love it. And there might be other brands, but when it first came out, it was like a Fiskar design, right? So there we go. I do love my craft knife and ruler for cutting things with your cutting mat. But there now, like, look at, and all my bits are very organized on the side. I can get rid of this now because I'm done that. I don't need this. Oh, cards. That's where I wanted to leave that on there because I could forget by next week. That's for my cards. And get rid of that. And now I'm ready to go, and I'm going to get my pop. Any questions, friends, or anything you wanted to comment on now? Can I tell you one thing that I would like if you guys can help me with? Are you ready? If you shop on scrapbook.com and you know that you can comment on products on there, if you're ever on there and you happen to love something that I create with, I would love if you went on and left a positive review. If you want to leave a negative one, I can't control anything about that. But my favorite is when I read the reviews and somebody will give it a 1 star and say, I ordered this, but I meant to order something else, so that's why I gave it 1 star. I'm like, well, why would you give it 1 star? It has nothing to do with the product, right? So I just find that it's helpful for people who are discovering my stuff for the first time. Like foundations paper, to me, should have like pages of, because I really am very proud of that product. But I think that's super helpful. The other thing that I'm going to do is find a place you could give your comments about Vicky Booten experiences, whatever it is, the cruises, taking classes live with me, Friday night lives. I am going to put something together because I think testimonials that I could post on my website are super helpful for new people finding our community. Don't you think? So I'm going to just kind of keep that in back of your mind that I'm going to post somewhere that probably on the Vicky Booten Creative Community, a post where you guys can post testimonials. And if you're okay with me posting them, that I can do, you can just put your first name, where you're from, your full name, anonymous, whatever. And then I want to start putting those on my website because I think that you guys are the best form of reference, or what would you say that, for people to discover something new. I always read reviews and comments before I do anything, right? So I would love that as we're just chatting, that I think it's super helpful. I have a TikTok account with 6K followers for crafters and talk about you all the time. Thank you, Kirsty. I'm saying that right, Kirsty? I very much appreciate that. That is very, very, very nice. But I know when I order clothes or anything, or I'm on Amazon, or I always like to read or see pictures, right? If it's clothing, what's it look like on a real body? Like on somebody just wearing it at home where they haven't altered the photo, or, they don't have 12 pairs of Spanx on. I like to see those things. So I think that that's in the new year where I'm trying to streamline all of this and make it a better experience for all of you guys, that I think it would be super helpful to do something like that. Wouldn't you guys think? And then that's another thing that I would like to talk about is I'm going to do a lot of that in the month of December. So as I'm planning for 2023, things that you would love to see moving forward, I'm going to talk about the things that I have planned in the new year, but I think would be a lot of fun, right? More than happy to post reviews on all the things. Thank you, Kimber. I have a YouTube channel and love giving you a shout out. Just won't share anything you haven't shared on a live since it's paid content, but many shout outs. Thank you very much. Read with a grain of salt. Some people are born against their will and nothing will make them happy. that is the funniest thing I've read on the interwebs today. Some people are born against their will and nothing will make them happy. And I realize that, like there's customer service involved in here, and I try to really not but kill people with kindness, because I never know why one day they're all nice and one day they'll send me sometimes the nastiest emails and stuff, but who knows what's going on in that person's life. So I try to give everybody the benefit of the doubt, and I make mistakes. I am not a perfect human, and this is a small business with not a team. There's not a team here. It's most of it, 90% of it is me doing it, plus doing all the other things. So I know I'm not perfect, and I try to correct it. I try to correct it, right? Any cruises in 2023? There are, but they're all booked, Sharon. But I see, and thank you for the reminder. But I am planning cruises for 2024, and one of them right now, what we have planned is Greece. So I just have to sign my contracts. Nothing has been posted. I can't share any real details about that yet, but there are for 2024. And I'm going to do back-to-back weeks so that I can get as many of you in there as possible. But what my friend Kari suggested, and I think it's a good idea, that 1 week is going to be a mixed media cruise with maybe a handmade album, and then the other one will be a scrapbooking cruise with layouts and a scrapbook album. So trying to do that, right? Yeah, trying to do that. I want one of those half pads to be added to what order is in the sale. How do I make that happen? So Karen, you would order it when I post it, and then I always will condense the shipping if I see multiple orders from the same person. Some people multiple order because it says that only one kit, like when there's an album, I can only fit one per box. When it's boxed cards, they're big. I can't fit a ton in the box. So those kind of things have to stay as separate orders. But if you add something, like say you went in there, because I just put the mini scoreboards, which I freaking love for making little envelopes. I just put those up for 10 Canadian, which is I think cheaper than you can find them anywhere. I put those up on my website. So say you see that and you're like, I ordered the travel kit and I needed that little mini travel board. I will always condense and save you guys on shipping. But for my American friends, I need you to know this. My Canadian friends, there is no way for me to ship a stamp set economically in Canada with a tracking number. And it's all gone up now in price, and they won't even let me do small bubble envelopes. I can only do a big bubble envelope. So the least amount of shipping that I can get on that is like now $15. And I will not ship with just stamps on it because there's no way for me to track that. So in the US, anything that stamps, stencils, those kind of things that go in an envelope, they are anywhere from $8 to $10, and I always will refund your shipping. Vicki, how awesome are you? Well, thank you. Some days I suck, but some days I try. I'm gonna grab my pop. I'm still here. I'm just grabbing it out of my fridge. Okay. So thank you for that. I try, friends. I try to keep you all happy. Canada Post is beyond expensive. And you know what? And I'm not Amazon. So I can't get, the best I can get is the discounted rates I get right now on Shopify. Maybe one day when I can hire some people who can do those things that I don't know how to do, I can find a way to do better shipping. But shipping is not a cost I can control. I don't charge you any extra for any of that stuff. So unfortunately, it is what it is, right? Can you explain why post is so difficult? I would love to. Do we have a couple days? But it is. It's ridiculous and it's expensive. And that's why I'm like, friends, when you're going to place an order, I would not place a $20 order. You're better off, because you're going to get it in a box, is wait to place your order till you can put, I don't know, how do you guys online shop? When I'm going to shop, I make sure I'm going to get my money's worth for what my postage costs are, because I can't control it. It sucks. It really does, right? Yeah, put UPS on your gratitude list. Here's a tip. Americans use the Capital Silver card to avoid Canadian fee. But what Canadian fees do you get charged? Lee, what fees do you get charged? Is it like an exchange rate fee? What fees do you get charged? I'm curious. But it is, like I always say, you're better off to get the stuff in the box. If you order like just one stamp set for the US, it doesn't matter because I get good rates on that. I can. But Canada, it sucks. But when I start doing stamps and stencils, there are different types of envelopes I'm going to look for that I can post it as a flat thing and save some money. But there's research that's required that I don't have time for it, right? Exchange rates sometimes. But what is it, Kari? Foreign tax, I believe. Exchange, what is the fee? How much do you get charged? Is this on your credit card? Is that on your credit card? Tell me these things. I'd love to know. Okay, we've got to get started, friends. But these are things like I wouldn't even know that happens, right? But then let me tell you, I'm a Canadian who shops in the US all of the time. I pay, if I want it, I buy it. So I pay exchange, I pay duty, I pay tax, and I don't even question it. So I think Canadians, we're conditioned. We pay the things. We know it's built in. So I have to say, most of us don't even question it. And we get freaking ripped off a lot of times on brokerage fees. So I could order something that I get only have to pay tax on. So it's our sales tax. So I will pay the sales tax of maybe $4, but get charged a $20 processing fee. It's highway robbery. It's a ripoff, right? It's a ripoff. Total ripoff. But we're used to it as Canadians. We just pay all of the things because we know it's out there, right? Okay, friends, let's get started. Yeah, and we don't pay duty, though. We don't get charged duty. Most things, it's like a free, whatever it's called, free trade, right? So what we get charged is brokerage fees, which is a ripoff that you're charged by UPS or by FedEx. It's a ripoff, right? It cost me $30 to send one layout in a pizza box to Canadian Scrapbooker magazine. It sure did. It sure did. Our shipping is crazy. But it's just a cost of doing business, right? I won't order if they use DHL to ship. They are a total fee gobbler. Yeah, it's true, right? It's a ripoff. Question. Do you have taxes like IRS? Yes. Yes. Canadians pay way more taxes than many, many countries because of our healthcare system. So, yes, we pay lots of tax. Lots of tax. Yeah. Yeah, we pay lots of income tax, property tax, tax, right? Okay, let's get started, friends. So, out of our stack, now we're going to cut boughs of holly. Boughs of holly, fa la 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 la. Okay. Same in the Netherlands, high taxes, but I wouldn't have it any other way because it's what we do here, right? It's just how it works. Yeah, and I'm glad I can pay them. Yep, whatever. It just, as long as the money goes where it needs to go, I'm totally okay with that. Okay, friends. So this paper, now we're getting into, I warmed you up. I lulled you into this whole comfortable sense of that, the paper cutting is easy. This is where you need to listen to what I say and just do what I do, okay? When you see a cutting diagram like this, so do you see this cut is going to be a vertical cut. So we're going to have to cut the barcode off and we're going to cut out of the sides of the paper. So that will represent that. Whenever you see a dashed line, these are scoring. So this is going to be one piece with no cuts across the bottom of it. We're going to score flaps, okay? So I'm going to explain as we go, but literally, you're just going to kind of follow along. So get ready, get your trimmer out, listen to what I say, watch what I do. I will repeat the cuts plenty of times, but these are going to be some of the hardest paper cutting, and that's why we're doing it. I pulled it out of the regular cutting to do today. All right, so let's go. So the first paper we're going to cut is Boughs of Holly. The pieces we're going to cut are from the sides of the page, because this side is going to be for fussy cutting these holly leaves. What would you call this? I don't know. Nosegays. I called them berries, like berry boughs or something, okay? So let's cut the barcode off of the top, and we will keep that aside, okay? So cut your barcode off of the open stock Boughs of Holly, and then turn your paper so you're cutting out of the left hand side. So I just cut my barcode off. I'm going to turn it. So this is the side I'm going to measure my first cut out of. This matters because that's where I got all of the pieces, sprigs. I love that, okay? So out of the left hand side of the paper, you're going to cut a 7 by 12 inch piece. So 7 by 12. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Out of the left-hand side, I cut a 7 by 12. You are going to fussy cut all of the pieces out of here. I'm going to set this aside, okay? This is for fussy cussing. Don't complain, my friends, because there's really only 2 papers I'm making you fussy cut this time. You can complain if you want, but I'm telling you, there's only 2 we're going to cut, and we're not cutting these out like surgery. So take the 7 by 12 and set it aside. That's for fussy cutting. We're going to cut out of the remaining 5 by 12. Yeah, it depends how you cut your paper, right? But I need to explain left and right, because most cuts out of a paper are going to be horizontally. These are vertical cuts. So out of that remaining 5 by 12, we're going to cut out of the 12-inch length, okay? So all we're going to use is, I'm going to cut a 1 3/4 and then a 3/4, okay? I don't know why I didn't cut that one. 1 3/4, okay? 1 3/4 by 5, and a 3/4, 3 1/4. 3 1/4. Okay. And then that leaves us with a 3 1/4, a 7-inch piece. Okay. So from this 1 3/4 inch piece, we are going to punch 1-inch circles. Okay, 4 1-inch circles. This is the fussy cutting. It's going to be for all over this project. It's in the album, it's in everything, okay? Don't right now, Angela, I'm going to tell you, this is going to be your tip. Don't even think ahead other than just the cutting right now. Okay, just the cutting. So just set this aside for now. Cut those pieces that I showed you. Yes, that's a 7-inch. So we have a 7-inch. I didn't write it on there. 7-inch, a 3 1/4, and then that was a 1 3/4. From your 1 3/4 inch piece, okay, 1 3/4 inch piece, take your 1-inch circle punch and just right up to the edge so you can get them out. Cut 4 1-inch circles. Yeah, I find like, and it's hard, and you guys know how you do all these things, right? Is some of you are thinking 12 steps ahead. The paper cutting stresses you out, Or some people are just get nervous with all of this. I'm going to say, like, quiet your mind as much as possible, and literally for this, just do the paper cutting, and then we'll figure out the rest as we go, because it can get really stressful. I'm going to throw that scrap out. I don't need it, so I'll get rid of it. For your for your 3 1/4 by 5, just round corners on one 5-inch length. Okay, so see what I'm doing? Just on one side, I'm just going to round. Most of the paper we're cutting today is for the layout, or pardon me, for the album. Most of the paper we're cutting today is for the album. And I already know everything we're using is going to be the blue side of this. But you can do this just so you can see what's going on and clip it. Okay? Are we good with the first one, friends? Any questions? So that is the first paper. I only rounded the top corners. And I've kept this aside. That will fussy cut later. Yes, I was on the I worked with fancy paint. I worked with pretty much every single manufacturer out there. I had some kind of relationship with, Jenna. But yes, a very long time ago, I did work with Fancy Pants. That was our first paper, right? So this, when you go to do, you are going to, let's find an easy one to access. I just kind of go like this. And cut out all of the little pieces. And this is how I fussy cut these. It is not like surgery. I left a little bit of a cream border around all of them, and I went very loosely around like this. And then just kind of went jiggy, 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 jiggy. And then in some of the areas, I did cut into the pine needles. So you can do this later when you're watching maybe some Netflix tonight, or at some point, or never. If this is not your jam, just add different embellishments, right? Some of you guys have your brother scan and cut you might set up. I think you'd have to draw lines on these, like set up some kind of file to figure out how you want it cut. But I don't know how that works. But they are on sale, and I am considering buying myself one just so I can help you guys with how to use it. And I want the label maker too, the P-Touch label maker one, and it's on sale. So I'm tempted to put that order in today. Right? So when you cut it, that's pretty much how I cut them out. Not like science, right? So you're going to go and I'm not going to do all of those with you because we'll be here for an extra hour just fussy cutting. But that gives you an idea. Just go through, cut them, and then have your stack of pretty little, look how beautiful those are. Little bits. Very good, very good. Let's move on to the next paper. I don't see any comments, so I feel like we're okay with that, right? That paper cutting was okay. Oh, I love that, Jana. Okay, the next paper is going to be Holiday Cheer, and this is with the words. So this is very important, friends, how you cut a paper like this, so that your words are not going to be, what site has the Brother Scan and Cut on sale? Brenda, I'm in Canada, right? And I went on the Brother site, and it's on sale. So I think it's like 200 and something off. So it depends, right? Question, do you only cut the full leaves or some of the partial ones? Do whatever you want, Claire. Some of these, like if it's almost all of it, definitely. But something like this, well, I might do a half one, but I wouldn't do that one. So sure, some of these ones that are partial, because if it's layered underneath, why not use just a partial one, right? But yeah, but I wouldn't probably use this one. or this, or these. I love this paper though. Do you see those music notes in the back? Oh, freaking love it. So this paper matters how you cut it so your words aren't going the wrong way, right? So now this one, the first cut, I'm going to cut out of the bottom of the page. So my first cut is going to be a full 12 inch that we're going to score. So please trim an 8.5 by 12 out of the bottom of this page. That's okay, Julie. The rest of it you can whip through one of these days, like before Friday, okay? Or before Saturday, really. But thank you for joining me as long as you could. I very much appreciate having you here. So out of the bottom of Holiday Cheer, on the word side up, I'm going to trim an 8.5 by 12. 8.5 measured from the opposite the barcode by 12. 8.5 by 12, that leaves me with a 3.5 by 12 that let's just complete. So 3.5 by 12, I'm going to go ahead and trim the barcode off now. And they're all pretty, so you can keep them for later. Look at the little dancing bells. And out of this 3.5 by 12, turn it, so you're cutting out of the 12-inch length, and just cut 4-inch mats. 3.5 by 12, cut 3 4-inch mats. Three 4-inch mats. Okay, and I'm going to clip them with one of the Oxides up, so when I'm going through this paper, I can easily find it. The other thing I like to do is put my strip on, so if I am looking for something in particular, I know what the name was, okay? When you can. You can't with the paper pad, but I can with that one. So now you get to experience scoring. This is going to be a zigzag flap in the album, so different sides are going to show, okay? So let me give you a visual so you understand what's going to be happening here. So I will find this page in the album and show you what that looks like. I love this page, so look it. This is going to be the 2.5-inch flap, and then this has a double flap in it. So we are going to score sometimes on the front, sometimes on the back, and that is going to make an interactive piece out of pattern paper. So from my left-hand side, I'm going to score 2.5 inches. So I will just do this. I do it on my trimmer. You do it wherever, if you have a, however you do your scoring. And I'm going to measure 2.5 inches on the left-hand side and score 2.5 by 12. Oh, pardon me, 2.5 by 8.5. I was lying to you. Okay. Now that's a rounded ball, so that's why I press that hard. If you're using the scoring tool on your trimmer, go very lightly. Otherwise, you'll perforate the paper, and that's where washi tape comes in handy. So does that make sense? There's my 2-inch flap. Now, I don't like math, so I only gave you the measurements for the two sides, because now I'm going to score 5 3/4 out of the right-hand side. So out of this side, I'm going to score 5 3/4. I like to score into my fold, so I'm going to score on the blue side of this, 5 3/4. So find your 5 3/4. And I will score on the opposite side so we don't have to get into a whole bunch of crazy scoring stuff, okay? Right? So now how that will work, so I will fold it on the score line, lining up, burnishing. You can use a bone folder. I just use my finger now. Does that make sense, my friends? How was that? Painful? Painless? So when we had that full sheet of 8.5 by 12, we scored a 2-inch flap on the left side and a 5 3/4 on the right. And then it makes a zigzag folded flap. Okay? And I will clip that in my cut pile. You can do the things. And there's one paper done. One paper done. Well, 2 papers done. Any questions? So now, if you're looking at the cutting diagram, you will see why I say I don't print the written one out. I feel like, well, and somebody had asked me, are there any alterations to make in the instructions? And I'm like, I don't know until we find them. Remember that it's a lot of words, so I could write the wrong number, whatever. Always cross-reference between your cutting diagram, because I know this is correct, and then reference with the written one, right? 2.5, sorry, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5. I apologize. 2.5. 2.5. Okay? It's what we scored. It's when I was telling you after. So yes, you're right. But if for some reason you did it at 2 inches, it would be fine. Okay? Let's move on to the next paper, which is Making Spirits Bright. I have to clean up a little bit. I'm starting to make messes here. And it is not conducive. What one was this one off of? Boughs of Holly. Don't forget, look at the candies off of Boughs of Holly. Very fun. Okay. Organize your stuff. The next paper is the ledger paper, and it is open stock, and it is called Making Spirits Bright, and it has the red polka dots and those little green and white berries. We are going to cut an 8-inch by 12-inch piece out of the bottom of this page. 8-inch by 12-inch piece, and we're going to cut a little piece off the side. A 1-inch strip, okay? So go on here, measure your 8-inch by 12, cut it out of the bottom of the page, 8 by 12, and then we'll cut some mats out of the top, okay? Out of your 8-inch by 12, you're going to cut a 1-inch piece off of the right-hand side, so not the berry side, the other side, a 1-inch piece. Or I'm going to do it like this, or 11 inches off the other side, right? It's the same math, but it's easier for me to line that up, so I'll do that. Okay, so that gives me my 11 by 8 and my 1-inch by 8. We're going to create a scallop border out of this in a minute, out of that red side, and we're going to score this to create a flap. So let's set that there, but let's finish with the remaining 4 by 12. Cut your barcode off. Cut your barcode off. And I am going to cut 2 3-inch pieces out of the side opposite that little red label. So my 2 3-inches will be here, and this will be a 6-inch piece. So from the opposite end of that, I'm going to measure 3 inches and cut 2 3 by 4 mats. 2 3 by 4. And then that leaves me with that pretty little 4 by 6. Okay. And I will put a red side up so I know what we're dealing with on the opposite side. I will clip these with the barcode. So again, from the remaining 4 by 12, we cut a 6x4 and 2 3x4s. Now let's take this beauty and we are going to score opposite the holly berry. On this side you're going to score a 4 3/4 inch flap. So 4 3/4 by 8 inch flap on the right hand side of the page. I am going to do it, let's see, I'm pretty sure the red is on the inside, but let's confirm. Yep. Okay, it's going to look like that. Okay. So off of the right hand side, 4 3/4. I score on the red side because it's the direction the flap is going, and I like to score into my folds. There we go. And I will put that in my cut pile. The only thing you have remaining now is this border. And how I like to do that, it's 8 inches, right? Is if I want it to end the same, regardless of what kind of border puncher you're using, most of them will have a mark right in the middle that shows you that's the center of the pattern. So if I line my 4 inch up there and put my paper in, then I can find the center of that pattern by lining it up with my ruler. And then I will be able to create a border that finishes the same on both ends, right? So I'll cut out the middle first, and then I go in and I line that up. With the pattern off of the right hand side and then off of the left, knowing that's the cutting portion, depending what border punch you're using. I love these Fiskars ones. I don't know if they make them anymore. I'm going to have to look into it, but they should, because it is a very good tool. Okay, so now see what happens is my border finishes exactly the same on both ends. Okay. Get rid of your garbage. And that beautiful little border. You could use, if say you only had deco scissors, what I would do on there is if you draw a straight line and put the loop of your deco scissors along the line, you can always cut a totally straight border. I need to find deco scissors so I can demo that. I'm sure I have them around here. I will have to show that. So that was it, friends, for making Spirits Bright. Okay, next paper is going to be out of your paper pad is the dark green in the houses. We're going to cut out of the dark green side. Dark green houses. So I'm going to start from the bottom and cut up. We're going to trim a 3.5 by 12, and that will leave us with an 8.5. So trim a 3.5 by 12, 3.5, and an 8.5. Now, if you're still wanting to border punch, and this is, you don't have time with your paper cutting, just set it aside. Put it right beside your border punch, that 1x8, and punch it later, okay? Just keep up with me now and cut what I'm cutting. 3.5 by 12 out of the green side of the paper pad house paper, okay? Thank you, Tina Marie. Okay, 3.5 by 12. 3.5 by 12. Turn it and cut 2 6-inch pieces. 2 6 by 3.5 pieces. One is going to just go in my cut pile. So one of these 3 inches pieces is going to go in my cut pile. The other one is going to be a flap in the book later. Okay, so I'm going to cut a V out of the one end, and I'm going to score a 1/4 inch at the top. So I like to take it, put the 2 open ends together, and cut up from there to make my little flag banner. Where are you, scissors? Thank goodness I have 20 pairs. There we go. So open end, I'm going to cut up about a 1/2 inch. And that's how I do my little banner. And I don't know which side we're going to flap this on, so I will just do my 1/4 inch on the opposite side, but I'm not going to fold anything, so I'm not too concerned, okay? So that is it for that piece. This one was one of the 6 by 3.5. I cut the little flag banner out of one end and then scored a 1/4 inch at the other end. Again, remember what size double-sided tape are you using. You might want 3/8 if you're using 1/4 inch. And then I'll put it in my cut pile. So everyone should have an 8.5 by 12 remaining that you can go ahead and cut your barcode off of. 8.5 by 12. My stomach just growled really loud. Hope you guys can't hear that. So there you have your 8.5 by 12, and I'm going to trim a 9-inch piece off of one of the sides. It doesn't really matter, okay? But I'll just do it like my cutting diagram, so I'll cut it off the left side. 9 by 12, that leaves me with a 3. Pardon me, sorry friends. A 9 by 8.5, which would leave me with a 3 by 8.5. 9-inch piece leaves me with a 3-inch piece, okay? Nine-inch by 8.5 leaves me with a 3 by 8.5. This one we're going to score, so set it aside. So the 9 by 8.5 is going to be scored, and then the 3 by 8.5 we're going to trim a little piece off of it. And in the book, it is going to be a little tag inside one of the pockets. I will show you. I will show you. So this one, see the one we're going to fold, is going to be a side pocket. So you get to still see the houses. And the green side will make a whole page, so that's coming up. And let's find that one. The one that we're cutting is going to end up being this little piece here. And somewhere in here is a flap. I'm not going to look for it and confuse the matter, but that's where we're heading here. So let's do the things. Okay. So grab the 3 by 8.5, and trim a 7.5-inch piece out of it. So you're going to just cut an inch off of it, okay? So I'm going to cut a 7.5-inch piece that will leave me with that little 1-inch doobie. That's safe because you never know if it's going to be a flag banner or somewhere in there, okay? In your album. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to just make it a tag by cutting a corner. And I like to just kind of eyeball it. And then I use that other piece. So this is a 7.5 by 3. And then I will use this other piece like this. And I will just cut the other side. You can draw it too. If you're like, oh, that's a lot to hold it, then just draw a pencil line on it. I almost spilt my pop. Did you hear that? And then just cut the other side, right? If you want that pencil line. And use that as a guide. Okay. And there's my little tag that can go in my cut pile. And the only thing we have remaining now is the 9 by 8.5. So make sure you measure it so you know which side is 9 inches, right? Because that's what we're going to score out of, the 9 inch, not the 8.5 is the height. We're scoring out of the 9 inch. So we are going to actually be scoring it. I'm going to flip it. Okay. And I'm going to be scoring off of the 5 side, 5 and 23, because it will fold over like this. Okay, it's going to be a side pocket. So 2 inches off of this side of it. And by looking at this side, then you won't score it wrong because your houses would be upside down or sideways, right? So I'm going to score through the houses 2 inches. Ish is fine. Two inches. You're fine. And here's the whole thing. If you find some of it's too fast, leave the piece that you are struggling with and just move on to what I'm doing. And I'm trying to slow down. That's why I'm showing you places in the book that you can then go and reference. But definitely just keep up with where I'm at. You can always revisit by watching the video later with the pieces you're missing. But you are better off to work on what I'm working on. I find it's super helpful to just work on what I'm working on. I didn't fold that very straight. So that's why I pulled the book out, so I can show you things, so it gives you a chance to catch up. Okay? So that is how I will put it in my stack. You're doing great, Sonia. You're doing great. Okay, put that in your cut pile. Is everyone okay with that? We've scored, we've done our flaps. It's going to go in my cut pile. And then this one, there's no scoring. It's just a bunch of cutting, okay? Light green and envelopes. We're using the light green side. Any thoughts? If you're scoring leaves rough edges, washi tape. Washi tape and don't score hard. Very light. You only need it to slightly crease the paper. And I'll tell you something. I never use a scoring tool on my trimmer. I think it's too sharp. You are better off to go like this with a pen and take the tip out and use that as a scoring tool. Even my bone folder, sometimes I don't know my own strength. So I find whatever you can use that's pretty rounded is a super awesome tool for scoring, right? I'm always too heavy. That's why I'm going to start carrying these in my shop. I think I have them. I just haven't added them because it's very round. So I find I'd have to press like the Hulk, but I will put it in there. And it's meant for embossing, right? Like in a soft thing, but I love it as my scoring tool. So I will be adding these to my shop, right? But yes, washi tape is a decorative element that also can hide your oops. So the next paper is going to be the light green and envelopes. Yeah, I have them. I just haven't added them. But that's what I said. I have this week, once the instructions are posted tomorrow, I'm going to be doing and organizing all of the, I have tons of product that needs to be added to my store, and everything I order are things I just like to use. So I will get it up there. So to do this one here, now when you look, we're going to cut each strip and then we'll cut into the strips. So we're going to cut from the bottom of the page a 3 1/4, a 1/4 inch, a 3 1/2, and a 5, and then we'll cut into the cuts. Okay? So put this in your trimmer and now just put your listening ears on. Right? Put your listening ears on and we're going to cut. I'm going to tell you the measurement, cut a 12-inch piece. I'll tell you the next measurement, measure it and cut it. I will go slow, but you need to line up the light green, and your first cut is a 3 1/4 by 12. So find 3 1/4 by 12 is cutting it right straight through. First piece was 3 1/4. Cut that strip. 3 1/4. Stop whatever else you're doing and do that. 3 1/4 by 12. And then this is just a very thin, and I'll turn it because it's easier for me, is a little 1/4 inch little mini strip. 1/4 inch. It's a very thin strip. It's going to be a tiny little border on that page that has the book, the door chipboard. So it's a little 1/4 inch by 12. I know it's fussy, but it is what it is. Okay? And now I'll turn this because it's easier. I just like to cut those thin ones where I can get as much support on the side. So far we have a 3 1/4 and then a 1/4 inch. 3 1/4, 1/4 inch. The next cut is going to be 3 1/2. 3 1/2. 3 1/2. So now I will stack it so it's the smallest on top. So I won't have to measure that. I'll know that's a 3 1/4 and that's a 3 1/2. And what does that leave you with? A 5 inch by 12 inch-ish piece. So trim your barcode off, and we'll cut out of this first. Right? Now, I doubt all these papers are square, so ish is fine. If it's not exactly, it doesn't matter. Okay? Ish is fine. Whatever you're left with, it's meant to be. Right? It is. It is what it is. Whatever you got is exactly what it was meant to be. This is not exactly 5. I don't think the paper pads are square because you have a perforation line, right? So it's all good. So from this strip, you're going to turn it so you're cutting out of the 12-inch length, whatever you have, that big piece. And you're going to, the first cut is going to be a 4-inch piece, 4 inches. Okay, it's going to be a little photo mat, a pretty little light green photo mat, 4 inches by 5-ish inches. See, it's not 5, but it's fine. Okay, 4 inches. The next one is 4 1/2. 4 1/2. First one was 4. Second is 4 1/2. And finally, is a 3 1/2. Take the biggest, the 4 1/2, and only round 2 corners on the 4 1/2 inch length. Just 2 corners. And guess what, friends? If you're like, that's too much for me to figure out, you can always round the corners when you put it on your page. Whatever floats your boat. Okay? And if you round the other corners, doesn't matter. But I just find then for reference, you know exactly which one you're looking for. And I like to stack smallest to biggest. So when I go to grab the pieces I need, it's an easy reference point. Okay, some people write sizes on these on the back. Some put sticky notes, whatever you want to do. Okay, so that was my first strip, the 5-inch by 12-inch, and I have a 4 1/2 rounded corners on one 4 1/2 inch side, and a 3 1/2, and it is done. And now I'm going to grab the bigger of the two pieces, which is the 3.5. And guess what? I can tell quickly when I stack them together that that's my 3.5 piece because it's bigger than the 3.25. So grab that. And all you're going to do with this one is cut a 7-inch piece and a 5-inch piece. Doesn't matter from which side, but take that one, and it's going to be a 7 by 3.5 and a 5 by 3.5. A 7 and a 5 from the 3.5 by 12-inch strip. I love that, Kirsty. So she's saying that she sees how by the second class she's let some of the control she has over the cutting going and literally just cuts the cut. And you will find, friends, and I know, I understand because I have control issues. So if I was in this class, I would be measuring everything. I'd be working ahead. I wouldn't be listening. I'd just do my own thing because I know exactly how I work. What I find is super helpful if you want it all to be the same as what I'm doing is just literally just do what I tell you. Just put it on and listen to the numbers, sip on your cup of tea, and just follow along. Once you let the control go, it makes the experience so much easier. It just does, right? 7. The 7.5 is for the little tiny strip, okay? See the arrow? So the 7.5 is for the 1/4 inch strip. It's 7 and 5 is for this. Okay? So I see what you're looking at, Jen, but it's the one underneath. It's this one. That don't cut right now. Cut it when you need it. But this one is the one that has a 7.5 inch piece that goes right here. So you'll be like, that's pretty finicky, Vicki. Oh my goodness. But I'll tell you why. It looks pretty. It's this piece right here, and we'll cut it when we need it because then you don't lose it. But see it? I like it. It finished my little border off, and that's why it's finicky, but it looks pretty. It's true, Pat, and I know. I get it. I totally get it. It's very hard to let the control go and to share my brain. It's not that I know better or I'm better at this than anybody. It isn't that. It's that the paper cutting is all coming out of my head. So sometimes for you to wrap your head around the cutting can be really tricky. But if you literally just let it go and just go, whatever, I'm just going to cut. If she makes a mistake, I make the mistake. So guess what? Vicki will fix it and I'll fix it the exact same way. Right? So this is your last strip of the light green. And these are going to be little mats. So the strip is a 3.25 by 12. We're just going to cut 4 2 3/4 inch pieces. So I'm going to throw that on my trimmer. I'm going to find 2 3/4, and I'm going to cut 4 mats. These are going to fit inside little tiny pockets. 2 3/4. So just slightly smaller than 3 inches, okay? 2 3/4. You're cutting 4 of them. And then you have a little nubbin on the end that will keep because somewhere we'll probably use that. Hi, Karen. How are you? Here we go. Okay. And I have been doing this for a long, long time teaching. We cut all the paper together, we clip them, and then we assemble. And I do not teach where I show you where to put every single sticker. I explain it, and I do the video and tell you where everything comes from. But I feel very strongly that the embellishing part can totally be your own jam. You can put whatever stickers that you want on there, but if you want it to be exactly like mine, I outline all of it. But for us to sit and glue embellishments and put stickers on eats up all the class time. So my album would only be a 20-page album if we wanted to build every single aspect of a page. And if that's what you guys want, I'll put less in a kit and I'll do smaller projects. But I find that I like there to be a lot and lots of layering. I show you all of the bits when we do a layout, but in the album, I just kind of leave it for you guys to finish. Because then the other thing is, maybe your photo doesn't match what I put on there for your December album. So guess what? Switch your embellishments from page to page. I feel like the jewelry should be personal. I will be your scrapping Yoda and guide you, or how I use them. But at the end of the day, if you switch all parts of that in your album, I totally think it's okay. And it's why I give you like 500 pieces of embellishment, right? You can do the jewelry, right? So I will never change the way I do it. Yes, my cutting takes forever because it's a 70-page project. I am doing it by splitting it a little bit because the projects just get bigger and more intense. I think this is really going to make it better in the long run, right? I think this will really make it better in the long run. And you're doing great, friends. Look at, we only have these left to cut and we're done for the day. And we've just done a whole bunch very relaxed without me having to rush you through it. And then still on Saturday, there's going to be probably 3 hours of paper cutting, a lunch break, and then we start assembly, right? But I'm doing this way slower than I normally would so that you guys don't feel rushed. And we have a lot of new people here, and I want the experience to be a good one. So I feel very confident in how I do this. I'm not going to change it because, well, one, it's how my brain works. I don't know how else I would do it. This one, friends, is a tricky one. So you ready for it? Not tricky, just different. We're going to use this whole 12 by 12 page. Whole 12 by 12 page. Your first class maybe, right, Samantha? But you can sit back and figure out why that class was that way for you. Does that make sense? You know why that class was that way for you. Is it was your first one, you might have come in with preconceived ideas of how it was going to go, or you messed up on one cutting thing and you tried to fix it and then you lost your space. There's lots of reasons. And I'm always like, don't give up after one class if the first one was a struggle. Just come into the second one with a whole new attitude, right? Of how you're going to be more successful. It totally works. So, friends, let's do it this way. Cut your barcode off, and I think this is what's going to be helpful. You ready? I would like to fold this. I'm not going to score it because then this page is not an exact square. So scoring at 6 inches is not going to give us an exact square. So we're going to take it and we're going to fold it in half. Let me make sure what's on the outside. Just a second. Let me show you what's going on here. I love this page. It's a new one. I have never done this before. And I love it. So this is the one that folds out into a complete 12 by 12. I just got to find it in here. Okay. So we're going to fold it in half and then in half. And then we're going to cut the right hand side. Why are we not scoring it on our scoring tool? Because it's not a square, right? Question, can you please give us the other fussy cutting item to do HW today? Yeah, we're doing it today, Laura. I just haven't got to it yet. I don't know what an HW is. I don't know what that is. Okay, so this is what we're doing. So I am not going to score it. I'm going to, homework. Yeah, we're doing all the things. It's in there. I just haven't got to it yet. Okay. I haven't got to it, but it is the black and white branches. So it's on there. It's the last paper is black and white branches. That's your other homework. Okay. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to fold it in half and fold it in half. And I'm doing this so I know that it will end up being very nice and square. Thank you. I'm like, what is HW? I don't want. I'm sitting there going, I do not know what that is. I'm a dum-dum. Okay. Fold it in half horizontally, then fold it in half vertically. Horizontally and vertically. But we're almost done for today, so we're doing just great. You're doing awesome. Okay? Vertically, horizontally. And now you're going to cut this line however you want to cut it. Put on your paper trimmer. I might use my cutting mat again because I can see exactly where the line is and I can cut it nice and clean. So I am going to do this, but you could put it on your paper trimmer. You are going to cut just to that center mark on this side. So I'm going to line that up. I'm going to mark that with my pencil so I know exactly where to end because it's hard on the white to see it. Okay. And I'm going to cut into that score line as close as I can to it. Ta-da! So this will end up going like this, and you can do all your liney-uppies. And when it gets glued in the book, it is going to actually be a pocket with all these flaps. And then it goes like this. And it will not be perfect, okay? You just might have to do a little bit of refolding. You might even decide, I'm going to trim a little bit of this, right? You might even decide to make the flaps all fold nicely, that you might end up cutting like a sliver of this off. A sliver of it off. I might do that. Just a sliver of the one above. A little sliver. And I'll show you why. Okay? Because it gives it that little extra area for my fold, and it folds a little nicer, okay? Now the other thing, when it folds over, because it's the same paper, it will be fine. When this goes in the book, it's going to be a pocket as well, and then fold out. Okay? So when it's in our album, it will be open like this. That's the separate flap. And then it goes up like this. So I'd fold it right now exactly like I'm showing you. Fold. If you want to cut a little bit off, you can. Do that. And over. And then just score. Or burnish. Okay? There you go. Isn't that fun? Isn't that fun? Doop, doop, doop. I'm so glad that Natalie is here for the Spanish part, because I couldn't help you. Couldn't help you with that part, right? There we go. That was easy. So now, does that make sense? Fold, fold, cut. And now we have a full 12 by 12 in our album that we are going to be able to go in here and put little photo mats. Like, let's look at that. Let's just appreciate the beauty of that page again. I love it, man. I so wish I could speak the Spanish. It is the one language I would very happily, Spanish and French, and I would like to be fluent in both. I would love to surprise you guys and just start speaking the Spanish. So, see how that page works again? It is a pocket, right? It's going to be a pocket. It's going to have a photo mat on the front, and then a mat, and you can go bigger later if you want, but I just did these squares. Look how fun that is, right? And I put the stickers that says, today, the menu, winter, and friend. But you can do whatever you want, and there you go. Very fun. Okay. Doop, doop. All right, let's go to the next page. And our next paper is the Ledger and the red. So it is out of your paper pad, Ledger and the red. We're going to be cutting vertical cuts, not horizontal this time, vertical. Cut your barcode off. Well, the strip at the top, it's not really a barcode out of the paper pad. Okay, and we are going to trim pieces out of the side of the paper. The first one we're going to cut includes the holly berry piece, and it is a 4 by 12 inch cut. A 4 by 12, including this little guy. So let's just cut our cuts so we don't take the paper out. So 4 by 12. Move your paper in and trim a 2.5 by 12. The first one was a 4 by 12, and now a 2.5 by 12. 2.5 by 12. And that leaves you with a 5.5. Okay, 5.5. This is going to be scored, so let's do it. Let's do the thing. So take your biggest piece, and it's going to be a pocket. So you are going to score a 4-inch flap off the bottom of it that will fold up like this, like a pocket. Okay? So out of the 5.5-inch piece, score a 4-inch flap on the bottom. And when it goes in our album later, it will be a pocket. Then I just like to line up my sides. If my cut isn't too straight, just trim it when it's like this. But now that will be a fun little pocket. I can clip that. Okay. And now let's take the other piece while we're at it, scoring. This is going to end up scoring like this. So it's going to meet in the middle. Okay. I'll show you what page this is. It's the one with the little bear on it. And it is what I call a slider page. So to keep the flaps together, we have this little bear that will slide off, and then it opens like this. So you're going to score a top flap and a bottom flap. And then later we're going to make, you'll need some scrap white paper, okay? We are going to end up making the little X that then goes on this piece to keep the little guy together and acts as a fun little closure. It's just different ways too, without magnets and all the rest, that you can put a little closure on your page. Okay? So you are going to take that piece and you're going to score 3 inches and 3 inches-ish is fine. I'll show you what I do when I fold it. So 3 inches and 3 inches. 3 at the bottom, 3 at the top. And then when I fold it, I like it to not overlap. You want to almost leave a little bit of space, right? 3 inches and 3 inches. And let me show you what I'm talking about when you fold it. I just use any white paper. So you could use 110 if you have it, but not like thin paper. It needs to be cardstock weight. So when you go to fold these, friends, don't commit until they're beside each other. You want to don't butt them right up against each other, okay? Fold it so you can see a little bit of the white of the background, because your little guy will fold in much easier on that. If you can have a little bit of gap between your pieces when you fold it, and I'll show you. So I just bring them together. So see, I can see a little bit of white. Just makes the slidey piece a little easier. And you can always adjust it when you go to put your guy on there, because it's tricky. This is a tricky page, I won't lie, but it's fun. Okay. Too funny. Just pulled a paper clip out of my bin, and it was a Vicky Booten barcode strip from a prior project. I love it. You'll finish up later. See you later, Rachel. There's not a ton left, okay? Not a ton left. We only have 3 pages to go, and one of them is fussy cutting. So we are almost, I bet you we have about 15 more minutes, and we'll be done. So I figure 3:30 and we're done, and that is good. We did very well today, going at the pace that we're going, okay? So you have this 2.5 by 12 inch strip. They're gonna be red mats. They're gonna be 3-inch mats. So just go ahead and cut 3-inch mats out of there. Okay, you're gonna get 4 of them. So take the remaining 2.5 and cut 3-inch mats. So that is 1, 2, 3-inch, 3, and 4. There we go. Yeah, there's not much at all left in this, so you guys are doing great. So I'm going to put those on here. That paper's done. All we have left is to do this one out of pattern paper. There's some scoring and some flaps and little pieces. That's the vellum, which is very straightforward cuts. And then this is the last piece that you need to fussy cut out of that side. Okay? So anybody sticking with me, we're almost done. We are almost done. Okay? So please grab your craft floral, and we're going to cut a piece out of the bottom and then do a whole bunch of internal cuts. Okay? There's not a lot left. So if you're like feeling like, but I get it, because some people are in different time zones, right? And you're like, I'm done. I got to go to bed. I got to work in the morning. But we're almost done. So we're doing great. We're doing great. A little sippy. So your first trim out of the floral is going to be a 4.5 by 12. 4.5 by 12. So please trim the 4.5 by 12 out of the bottom of the page. 4.5. 4.5 by 12. And that leaves you with the 7.5. So let's cut out of our 4.5 inch first. Okay? So now turn it. So you're cutting out of the 12-inch length. Doesn't matter which side you cut out of. It doesn't matter. But turn it so it's out of the 12-inch length. And I'm going to cut a 9 and a 3-inch piece. So a 9 by 4.5, and that leaves me with a 3. Okay? A 9 by 4.5 and a 3 by 4.5. Both of these are going to be scored. Okay? So I'm going to set that aside, and we'll do this one first. So let's find where they are in the book so we know which side we're using. Okay? We need to, so you see, right, all the little red, all the little bits, there's rhyme and reason to all of it. I use almost everything. So it's craft or diagonal stripes. Let's find it. So it is this piece. It's going to be craft side up. So we're going to end up scoring a 1-inch and flag bannering the other. And then the other one, I believe, is for waterfall flap, maybe. But if I can't find it quick, we will just score it and not fold it, and then we'll figure it out later. Because sometimes it takes a little bit to find out where it is in here, especially little bits. Yeah, I don't know where it is, so oops. So I'll just score it and I won't fold it, okay? But on the big one, it's nice to know. So for this one, score it. Oops, some of my stuff has fallen off. I'm gonna have to glue. I just lost my little star. My star fell off. I'll glue it. That's why you need glue. You need glue on your cover. So for the little one, just score a 1/4 inch, but I'm not going to fold it over. So I can decide which side it goes on later. So just score lightly, 1/4 inch on the 3-inch end, and it can go in your cut pile. It will be my first clipper. Okay, and then on the 9 by 4.5, we're going to flag banner one end. So however you guys want to do this, like I said, I just put my corners together. You could draw it on there, whatever works for you. And then from the open end, you cut in so it doesn't end up being a pennant. I want it to be a banner, not a pennant. And then I cut up from the ends about 1/2 inch, maybe more, okay? And then the opposite end, you're going to score 1 inch. 1 inch for this one. So that's different, right? 1 inch. 1 inch-ish. Okay, 1 inch at the top, because you can trim some of that off later, but the reason I did it is it's a deep flap, okay? And then I'm gonna, just so I know what's on the opposite side, I'm gonna do that, okay? I'm gonna put the red side up. So what do we have left? We have a 7.5 by 12. So we're gonna cut a piece out of the 12-inch length and then a whole bunch of little pieces, okay? So take your 7.5 by 12 and trim the barcode off, or the top, I call it barcode, whatever, the tip top piece. Okay, and now we're going to cut out of the 12-inch length. So you're going to turn it and cut out of the 12-inch length. How many people are actually still here? So almost 200. We've lost probably about 50, right? But I get it, because some people never could stay for the whole time today. So if you're watching after the fact, really just get your paper cutting done, and then the rest you'll be good, right? So this is my 7.5 by 12. I'm cutting out of the 12-inch length. I need an 8.5-inch piece. So your first piece you're going to cut is 8.5. That will give you an 8.5 by 7.5. So just make sure you know the 8.5-inch side, because that's going to matter. From this remaining piece, you're cutting it in half and in half. So it is going to be about 1 3/4, or measure it and then cut it in half, right? Whatever you have left there. Where's my ruler? Yeah, so that should work, because mine is 3.5. So I'm going to cut my 1 3/4 inch strip. So cut a 1 3/4 inch strip. That will give you 2. Oops, good thing I looked. I almost didn't cut it right. So measure twice, cut once, 1 3/4. That will give you 2 1 3/4 inch strips. Okay, you're cutting it in half. Ish. They might not be perfect. So I have 2 1 3/4 inch strips. Now, the height of these is going to be 3 3/4. I'm going to stack it and cut it together, because it's actually going to be, I think, the striped side that's up, okay? So I'm going to trim my 3 3/4 stacked so they're all the same size. Oh, that's not right, Vicki. Watch what you're doing. 3 3/4. And that gives me my 4 1 3/4 by 3 3/4 inch pieces. These are going to be side pockets. Oh, look it. So when you do that, you just clean it up, because nobody will know. And if I have to make adjustments later, I'm fine with that. Okay. Clip it. Put it in your pile. I clipped those together and clipped it in my pile. So remember, we have this piece left that's 8.5 by 7.5. Make sure you are scoring along the 8.5-inch length. 8.5. It is going to be a side flap. Let's find it in the book. I already know where this piece is. And I love this one. It is a double layered flap. So let me show you it. Double layered flap. You ready? So this is what it looks like in the page. Okay? It is going to be, can you see all that? So you're scoring your flap on this side with the red along, and then that piece gets glued inside. It closes, it flaps over the top, and then you have a side pocket. I know, this could be freaking you out. It's a lot of business going on, but right now, let's just figure out that other thing. I just needed to know what side is up. Just needed to know what side is up. And here's the thing. You guys are all like thinking the album looks so pretty. Wait till we put photos and journaling in it. Then it will be like poof, mind-blowing awesomeness, okay? So you are going to score 2.5 inches off of the left-hand side, making sure you're doing it on the 8.5-inch length. So see, I'm measuring, and I'm going to put it in my trimmer and score 2.5 inches. If you want to see it before you do it, just give me a second, I'll show you. Whoop. 2.5. Photos, I totally am putting photos in it, Kristen. And here's the whole thing is I'm going to be taking the photos from my photo prompts. And I'm excited about it. I'm going to actually scrapbook. So see, that's what it should look like, okay? And that's 2.5, 2.5, and 6. Okay, the base is 6. The flap on the front, on the left-hand side, is 2.5. See you later, Pamela. We have only 2 more papers to cut. 2 more. And I love it, and I feel like it's worth celebrating. So guess what? Grab that vellum. Grab that vellum. I love the vellum. I add it. Do you know, like, I think, what is the vellum? Like $3.50 US or more just for 1 sheet of vellum. But I love it. I think somewhere along the line we're doing an acrylic. But it's always between acrylic and vellum. But look at this, and that's my handwriting. So I wrote fa la 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 la, and we added it. And I love that on a diagonal. Like, this is really, really pretty, right? So this is just some straightforward cutting. I'm not going to blow your mind. We're going to cut 2 6x12s, so cut it in half. 2 6x12s. Didn't I blow your mind this time? Didn't I? 2 6x12s. Okay. Love it. Out of one of the 6x12s, turn it. So you're trimming out of the 12-inch length. And please cut a 5.5 by 6-inch piece. 5.5. Okay, little 5.5. Move the remaining strip into your trimmer and trim a 3.5-inch piece. And that leaves you with a 3-inch piece. Okay, so I put my smallest to the front. So out of that 12-inch strip, we cut a 5.5, a 3.5, and we're left with a 3-inch piece. And we'll clip them. You're doing a great job, Anne-Marie. And I agree, Cresta. I love the vellum. So off of this one, I don't care which end you just need another 3x6. And then the rest is extra. Okay, so just another 3x6. Doesn't matter which end you cut it from. I'll just do it exactly the same as my cutting diagram, a 3 by 6. That we're going to cut other things out of these later, but good enough for now, okay? And a 3 by 6 out of the remaining 6 by 12. Clip them all together. And we have one more paper left. And then all you have to do is your fussy cussing. Okay? Well, we have lots of other papers to cut in the actual class, but for now, we're good. So the one thing I want you to keep in mind, do you see on the cutting diagram that it says a 4 3/4 inch piece with red squares? So let's cut out of that side of the paper. So you know that your 4 3/4 inch piece needs to come from that side of the paper. You're welcome, Darcy. You know, it's how my brain works, and it's the whole cutting diagram came to being because it's how I write my instructions. Because I find this way easier than a page of words and numbers. Words and numbers feels like math geometry class. This is visual for me and how my brain works. So, I write the written stuff out because I know some of you guys like it. I never even reference it. None of the written instructions. I write it and I hate it. I always say, everyone knows, they'll be like, what are you working on? I'm like, freaking writing instructions, and I hate it. And I do. It's a strong word. I hate it, but I know you guys love it, so I do it. But I freaking put it off. I hate it. And that's why the instructions are the last thing to always come, right? But they're almost done. I stayed up till 3 o'clock last night, and then I went, I'm not writing. I was going to try to get everything posted for today, and then I went, that's silly, because this is all we need for today. I'll write, and if I post all of it at the same time, it's very hard to figure out what you need to print for today. So I stopped and then refocused on just what we needed for today. And then all the instructions will be written and finished tomorrow, except for the cards. The cards, you have to give me another day because I want to add on to that class, okay? So all we need to do is cut a 4 3/4 by 12 inch from all red. So put it in your trimmer so it's all red and cut 4 3/4, which I believe is almost like the 4 strips, right? 4 3/4. Yep, look it. It's on that dark red strip. Okay? This is going to be for your layouts. This is going to be fussy cut. So this is for your layouts, whatever you want to do with it until we get to that. And this, you're going to fussy cut those branches just like we did the other pine leaves. And I feel like that's not too much fussy cutting. And then, did you see why you need to fussy cut this? I'm going to show you again because I freaking love this page. We're fussy cutting it for this. So this shows you, not super detail-y. And you have now all week to get those fussy cuts done. But that is what we used it for. And I love this page. So if you want to do this page, cut them out. If you don't do it, right? But that's what I did. I fussy cut the branches out of this. Any one, like not these little edgy ones, unless you want them, but more as much branch as, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And I chose that side of the paper to maximize what we could cut. So you still need to cut those out. And then let's count what I used. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, I love it, friends. So now what am I going to do? I'll fussy cut these with you guys so they're ready. Here's the other thing too. If you have a friend, so when I'm done this class, I will sell the kit all cut. So if you're like, I would love a second one to gift, the first person who emails me at vickybooten.com, I will take the access only portion off the kit. So it will be the whole class kit minus the $40 with everything pre-cut. And that's my gift to somebody. Whoever emails me saying they want it at vickybootenkits@gmail.com will have all of it organized, fussy cut, clipped, and flipped. So you might have a friend who you know would love this class but could never do all the cutting. Then you could gift it. So I always sell. You're going to be watching when I do that next addition to my store. I have the Fernwood album, all of the ones that I fussy cut, or that I did all of the cutting for the class. I will sell those. So be watching for that, right? So friends, now in a neat spot so you don't lose all of your bits, because we will organize these on the weekend, is I will take all of this and I will put it in a baggie or something so I don't miss anything. Because now here's your whole thing. You have a week from now until we're going to use these. Don't lose all of this work. So make sure you put it somewhere where you can find everything, right? So thank you very much. I'm going to turn the camera around. You will please add a subject line to the email so Vicky can recognize. Yes, I love that. I will put all of my pieces together and I know what this is for. And then on Saturday, because the card class is some of the scraps, but not much. It's pretty much going to be just stamping and using some of our leftovers. But I'll probably use like some of the full sheets we haven't cut at all, so it just reduces confusion. But let me just flip and I can look at you while I'm talking to you. Just a second. I got to make sure I don't hang up. Let me fix and adjust. Oh, that was so good. I love it. I love how organized we are now. I just hope everybody realizes we did this today. Hi. Because that's always my fear, right? Is people don't read their emails. That they're going to come in on Saturday thinking that they're ready to go. And we just did a whole bunch of work ahead of time. So please, friends, read the emails, right? Do whatever you can. Do whatever you can. If you can't join me live on Saturday, still comment and let me know you were there. I love it. If you're watching after the fact and you have any questions, let me know. I think it was all pretty straightforward, right, friends? I think this was all pretty straightforward. How it will work now moving forward is I'm going to send out my cut. Like when the instructions come, you'll get the cutting diagram, but in those cutting diagram will be the ones that I've picked out to cut today. The first thing I'll do on Saturdays will X through the ones that we did today. I'm not going to draw that whole thing out again. We'll just X through it, okay? So yes, if you want a selfie, because please, pictures you're posting, post, but if you want a selfie with me, I'll move over, you stand beside me, and you take it. Are you ready? Is that long enough? Yeah. I think it was good. I think it was good. It's a lot, right? The math and the paper cutting is a lot. Just have your pieces organized. If you cannot do it live with me, it's all recorded. All of these are recorded and you can do it. Natalie is trying to help me figure out time stamping the videos because I think that would be super, super helpful to say paper cutting from 10 until noon and then 30-minute break and then assembly. Cover was done at this point. I think that that's super helpful, right? So when we get into this on Saturday, it will be like, good morning. And then 15 minutes in at 10:15, I want to get started so we can get it done at a very leisurely pace. But it will probably go on Saturday easy till 4 o'clock. Easy till 4 o'clock. It's a lot of work, but I don't know. Doing all of this pre-prep will definitely is going to make it a little different. So we'll see. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you because this is the first time, right? We're guinea pigs. You guys are all guinea pigs to figure out how that went, but I think that went really well. Be checking on the board so that you can see when the instructions and stuff are printed if you or are added. If you want to print that, it's all in the guide section. A huge, huge, huge thank you to Miss Natalie D'Souza for always being there, answering all your questions and helping me so, so much. I appreciate you so much, my friend, which you know because hopefully I tell you all the time. all of these are recorded, so you can watch them all at any point, and you can revisit, especially when we get to the album. Because listen, this is, okay, muy importante, chicas, muy importante. I will do paper cutting on Saturday for the album. We take a lunch break. We do assembly. Assembly means find this, find this, find that, clip it. Some of the pages we will glue and assemble so you see how flips and flaps work. But a lot of it is clip, flip, sip. Have your little M&Ms or your little snick snackies. And we're going to talk about that this week, is what our snacks are for the weekend. And I'm going to share like maybe my favorite cookie recipe or something. I love that. I just love community. And then I will do a separate video after the weekend of a walk. Actually, no, I do it at the end. I will walk through the whole finished album. And that will be in the timeline. The breaker upper is that at 4:15 is the walkthrough of the whole album. Why this is muy importante. The images are small on the printouts because color ink is so expensive. Like for you guys to print all of that out is crazy talk. It's freaking expensive. Like when I go and do the cruise and it's only 50 things that I'm printing out, it costs me $500 for printing. I just feel like I would rather put stuff in kits than waste that kind of money. Like I just think it's crazy town. So for me now, with all of our gadgets, we can look at it online. So yeah, print it at work. You have that up. I don't. This is work. I have to pay for everything now. So when I do the walkthrough, this is what I do. I will open up a page and then I'll hold it there for a minute so you could pause your video and then zoom in. I hold it up close. I tell you exactly where I found everything. And then I find that Saturday will be all of the kind of prep work. And then you can take a whole afternoon, another day, to go through and embellish on your own. Okay? So it's going to be good. And then I'm promising you Saturday, if you're mad at me on Saturday because it was so much work and you're tired, Saturday, I buy your love right back by making the layouts are very relaxed. I love layouts I can whip off, like literally whip them off like nobody's business. I love scrapbooking. I don't have to think about it, sketch it. I just sit down and make it. And that's what it'll be like. And then to buy your love, I will do a bonus class at some point in the month of December. One thing I want to tell you guys though, with this whole Evergreen and Holly extravaganza event, I'm also going to still for the whole month of December be doing a whole separate album using all of my favorite Christmas lines, like whatever I have around the house. I'm not going to necessarily shop. I'm going to shop my own freaking stash. I'm going to do some mixed media. So just be prepared for that. So when I put that Evergreen and Holly add-on sale up this week with the half pads, anything I have left that's just laying around here, because I have a lot of Evergreen and Holly, I still have full kits as well if you guys are still interested. And let me tell you, say you're interested in the kit and you bought access only. Reach out to me. I will deduct your $40 off of the kit and ship you a kit. So, you know, if you're like, I love it, I wish I would have bought the kit, just email me and I'll work something out with you. But I'm going to be adding a whole bunch of fun stuff that you can work with the month of December. I feel like that's everything. And I feel like I'm going to go and make supper for my family and take a break. But thank you so much. If you're watching after the fact, I hope you've enjoyed this process. Let me know what your feedback is and your thoughts are on all of this. Have a wonderful rest of the day. I'll read through your comments because I'm missing everything you guys are talking about right now. But oh my goodness. Thank you so much. This was awesome. I'm really glad that we broke it into an extra little prep class. I hope you feel more confident with the whole process. And thank you so much, as always, my friends, for joining me today. And I will see you throughout the week on the board. And then I'll see you on Friday for the tags and cards kick-off class. It's going to be really relaxed, just doing some stuff. So thank you, friends. We will see you later. Bye.